We fell in love too fast, and then we watched it all crash. Sent chills down my heart and my spine, but I still want you to be mine. And if I underestimated anything you did for me, yeah, it's cause I didn't know, cause I didn't know, cause I didn't know that love could feel this good. If I could rewind something, I'll make you mine. You know, if I could, then I would. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know I want you back. I want you back. So gon' make me feel this way. I want you back. I want you back. Yeah, yeah. You know I feel, oh yes, it's real. I don't know nothing that can make you feel the way I feel about you. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. We felt the rush too fast, so fast that we could not last. Felt like someone took my glove. You showed me the true meaning of real love. And if I underestimated anything you did for me, yeah, it's cause I didn't know, cause I didn't know, cause I didn't know that love could feel this good. If I could rewind something, I'll make you mine. You know, if I could, then I would. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You know I want you back. I want you back. So gon' make me feel this way. I want you back. I want you back. Yeah, yeah. You know I feel, oh yes, it's real. I don't know nothing that can make you feel the way I feel about you. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, yeah.
Welcome to the Smiling Suffer podcast. On the mic is Corey. It's been a minute. I have Mr. Wale here with me.
What it do?
I can barely hear you.
Can you hear
It's
me
probably my headphones.
now? I think I can
How
hear
far
myself. I can hear myself properly.
Um,
Hold on. There we go.
yeah. So we out here. It's been a couple weeks. There's a lot that has happened in the last couple of weeks. I know I went on vacation. I was in the U.S. Virgin Islands. What you been up to, Wale?
Guys, relaxing, man.
Relaxing? You ready for Christmas?
I was ready as I could be.
I feel like Christmas is not really gonna happen this year.
There's nothing
COVID.
going on.
My family has they've shut down the plans to hang out. What else happened, man? Some things happened recently in Afrobeat, man. Thames and Omah, they got locked up in Uganda.
I think their manager, too. I don't know if it's the
Was their
same-
manager too?
I don't know if it's the Mayorkun guy. I think his name Mayorkun. I don't know if whose manager he is. I think he's Thames' manager.
Okay,
Maybe,
but
maybe both. But he also got locked up.
there was a bit of a uproar online. So it was very random. I just saw somewhere Omah posted, and it was weird because he was locked up, but he was still tweeting.
Maybe someone has his phone now, his account now.
Okay, that's possible. But basically, he was like, "You guys, I'm locked up in Uganda," and it turned out they were locked up for promoting. I forgot the exact charge. Promoting irresponsible behavior that could cause.
Long
guess-
story short, they said they held a concert and they claimed Uganda government claims they can what do you call it? Because of the concert held, you can spread coronavirus.
Yes. So it was
There's a legal term they termed it.
some legal term.
So the thing is, it's stupid because the same Uganda have been having political rallies and stuff like that. Like they've been having gatherings for people campaigning and stuff. Like
Yeah.
that. But then secondly, the main thing actually is it's not like Uganda gives a fuck about Thames and Omah per se performing. It was supposedly started by some guy. Well, not even supposedly. It started by this BB Cole artist.
BB Cole or something like that.
Yeah, and I think it's
He's
just...
a Ugandan artist.
Yeah, and I mean, there's like tweets from Thames and her...
So is it that the guy
guy
was petitioning the government to arrest them?
So I've heard from someone who's Ugandan that he's in the pocket of the... Like, he's cool with the government, I think. I've heard from somebody. From what my understanding is, and I might be wrong, because honestly, I didn't really like, I saw it and I was like, the hell, like, they need to definitely free them, but I didn't invest time in the reasoning behind why the guy did what he did. But my understanding is because we've seen this before. We've seen, Ghanaian art. So let's start with Afrobeats. Afrobeats was started by Fela.
Yeah.
And, Nigerian. And the Afrobeats that we all know today is a representation of, it's a derivative of Afrobeats. And it's started by Nigerians. And we are like the way United, if you're a blown star in the US, if you're big in the US or you get a hit song in the US, you get a hit song worldwide. It's the same way in Africa. If you get a hit song or you're doing well in Nigeria, you're doing well in Africa. And our artists, let's be honest, are like the superstars of the continent. Yeah. Now, I understand that their music from other parts of Africa are not getting as much love. And some of their artists, like Diamond Platnumz in Tanzania, what he did to get fame or to get more popular was started featuring Nigerian artists on his songs. So he's have songs with Patoranking, Davido, and that started getting your name. And he's huge. Now, Uganda, BB Cool, what I was seeing with tweets from Ugandans and everything is they were saying stuff like, why are these people coming to perform and getting paid, whatever they're getting paid, and our local artists, up-and-coming-ish artists in Uganda cannot get the same opportunity in Nigeria.
Is that what they were saying? Or were they saying that?
That's what some people were saying.
Okay, because I was under the impression that maybe they weren't allowed to do concerts, and then they were letting these artists from Nigeria
there was also
do concerts.
That too that I saw from. That's why I said I don't really know. I also saw that too. Now, what BB Cool's tweets that I saw initially said was something along that lines of they weren't allowed to do concerts and why are they being held? But I don't know how true that is. And even if that's true, then I'm sorry, you should look in yourself if your promoters are willing to fly people from West Africa to come and perform and sell out shows rather than find artists in your country to perform. So that's not a Thames or Omah problem.
So you think this thing really boils down to just envy and jealousy of Nigerian artists?
And the reason I mentioned Ghana in front is Ghana has had that same beef with Nigeria. Ghanaian artists will get mad. And the same way Nigeria, we've all been through the same. Idris Abdul Karim and 50 Cent. Is this not what happened? He got mad. Why are you bringing a foreigner to my country? And you're not giving me the same treatment as you're giving a foreigner. So it's something that has been going on. And unfortunately, this is just it's the same thing happening. It boils down to that. But
it could just be a matter of market. There was a demand for those artists.
Whatever. Even if the promoter said, fuck it, I only want Nigerian artists, so fuck what? But Thames and Omah should not be the victims of this, whatever is going on with you or your personal, like they did not do anything to deserve it. They performed. All they did was perform. So why are you holding them? Now, obviously, they said the BB Cool guy was the one who got them arrested. Yeah. And then he's the one who starts acting like he's been freeing them or he's been trying to look out for them. And that's why Thames and the Mayorkun guy came out to...
Yeah, they've been coming at him ever since they got back.
I mean, I looked at the
There was a lady, too, that came out, some Ugandan lady that came out that was complaining about... the fact that she couldn't get gigs.
Yeah, so look, like I said, dude, this thing, see,
it was this lady. Hold on, let me play it.
This is Cindy Biebe, definitely the king herself. Now, I've got something on my mind and I think I should just say it. So, we as artists, since the lockdown, have been trying to stay calm, have been trying to stay quiet for the good of the country, because of this whole lockdown corona situation. And while we are doing this, we are the ones who have been ignored the most, because you notice a lot of sectors have been compensated, but the artists have not yet been compensated, and yet we are the first people that were locked down because the shows were the first thing that they were like, no more shows, bars are closed, and every avenue that an artist would have made some money for lunch, for their children, for their health, was stopped first. But even up to now, artists have totally been ignored. So we've been calm about the situation, and a lot of artists are starving, a lot of artists are sick, a lot of artists are in heavy debt right now, and it doesn't have to be me to feel it. I feel it because I'm a fellow artist. So in all our silence, a foreigner had a concert in this country and actually got and filled up a concert where there was no social distancing, there were no masks, and this idiot even posted it online and was very proud about the fact that he had a successful concert in Uganda.
He's talking about Omah.
Probably. You can pause it. Like, look, bro, the same Cindy that's calling someone an idiot. If you go
and that's Cindy Sanyu, by the way.
Cindy had one decent song with P Square like 10 years ago.
Oh, you know who she is.
I know who the fuck she is.
She looked like she's suffering, though.
She is suffering, bro. Like, let's be honest. But if you go to her page or on Instagram, she's the same Cindy was posting videos of her like some was it fashion show, beauty show. There was no social distancing in what she was doing, and that's why I said you notice the word she used there, a foreigner.
Yeah,
that is the key problem.
So you think it's really it comes down to the envy?
Yes, Cindy, go on her page. She's like, if you see what like there's something she posted. Was that scroll? Is it that one? The second one maybe.
Oh, let me see if it's the second one. Is this one?
No, scroll. This is old. Scroll down. That's if you go to like the if you scroll, I saw something. She deleted the video.
She probably did.
And I think she might have deleted it. There was another video that she was promoting some event. Mm-hmm. And it was there. I was looking at it, and because Nigerians went to comment on it too, like
Oh, really?
She's never seen that many comments before in her life, so she probably deleted the video. But look, at the end of the day, and that's what it boils down to. It boils down to, like, no disrespect. An artist is supposed to be, popular, making money, and stuff like that. Like, she didn't look like she was riding in a decent. I don't know the kind of car she was driving, but it didn't look luxury. Do you understand what I'm saying? She didn't look like she was luxury herself. And I understand her industry is suffering. So it's like in Uganda, they're not making money. It's rough out there probably. So you see Nigerian, you see foreigners. So you already have this envy. There's an envy. And that's why I brought up Ghana and everywhere too. Like Shatawale, everybody, they were making noise at one point. Like, why would they do award shows in Ghana and the headliners are Ghanaian artists? And like I brought up Nigeria too. Idris Abdul Karim's fight with 50 Cent, he says it every day. It was based on the same thing. Why would you do a headlining show in Nigeria and bring 50 Cent as the headliner? Why? It makes no sense. And that's Africa's problem. We don't promote our people. I understand. But should the person they bring suffer for this?
Probably not.
So and the issue is not about social distancing. So call it what it is. We are mad that Nigerians are coming to sell out, and we know that that's the problem. So I think that's why Thames and her manager are mad at BB Cool, because, bro, you don't give a fuck about social distancing. You're just mad that these people came in, performed, made money, sold out a show in your country that you're probably not able to do, at least at the moment, and you're upset. You pull some strings, you got them arrested with the guise of, no social distance, COVID, and then you're not acting like, oh, no, I'm their savior, and it's just bullshit, man. Like, honestly, it's. But
anyway, but they got released. They're back home now, and they seem to be doing
African
fine.
artists, to be honest, like Nigerian artists, I think we're a very populous country, but not everyone likes us. But I think maybe you guys the only thing we can say to learn is maybe, at least at this moment, you guys try and find out the official laws of a country, even if they're not practicing it.
Yeah.
If they say no concerts are to hold, and somebody comes down and approach you for, they'll say no, man, turn down the bag. It's not worth this whole embarrassment and trauma you're spending. I'm seeing videos of Omah when he was handcuffed, his hands were shaking. Thames is a baby girl. She's a Ajebota babe. Like, why should she have to go through that stress, even if it's just 2-3 days. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
But moving on though,
fuck BB Cool though. Like,
end of year, Spotify released their top songs. Artists have, the artists do this thing where they post how many streams they got.
yeah.
What did your list look like, Wally? Just out of curiosity.
My Spotify. Let me just go there real quick.
I think mine was. It turned out my top song, and that's top songs, all genres. Guess which one?
Oh, Afrobeat.
Guess what song?
I don't know.
Odogu. That song is a jam.
Alright, so let me go through mine. Mine is this. So I like Show Them Camp, obviously.
Yeah, how are you doing? How come I can hear what's on your phone? Oh, okay.
So all right, let's go. I listen to. I don't care about this one. Oh, yeah, so Omah was definitely my favorite artist of the year.
Omah.
All right, so my top genres were
How were you able to find your top genres?
Nigerian pop, Afro dancehall, UK hip hop, pop, and Afro house.
Wait, was this on Apple iTunes?
Spotify.
Oh, Spotify?
Yeah.
How are you able to see those
This
things?
is my top song. Damn by Omah.
Damn.
This was my top song of the year. Damn. So the story of Damn, it gives me a breakdown. So it says the first time I listened to it was June the 4th.
Yeah.
And the day I listened to the most was July 11th.
Where are you getting this breakdown?
And the 50th time I listened to it was July 8th.
Oh wow.
And I've listened to it 82 times this year.
Oh damn. I don't think I ever got
But these
that
are
breakdown.
other songs I had on repeat. Damn, number 1, Bad Influence Omah. Look at them, they're all Omah. 1 to
Really?
4, and then number 5 is Wonderful by Burna Boy, which I'm surprised.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but it's a little off because it says I'm a pioneer. Okay, let's see why it says I'm a pioneer. Hold on. It says I listened to Lolo by Omah before it hit 50,000 streams. Interesting. But yeah, that's on I use both platforms.
Oh, okay.
So my top artist though is Burna Boy. So this is my
it
top
was.
list. So my top artist was Burna Boy. Then number
And
2
this is Spotify.
Spotify. Top artist number 1 was Burna Boy. Number 2 was Omah. Number 3 was Wizkid. Guess who number 4 was? Davido.
Of course. They all had huge
Then
years.
number 5 was Olamide.
Lamde had a huge year
My
too.
top songs, number 1 was Damn by Omah. It was all so Omah, Damn, Bad Influence, Lolo, You, and then Wonderful was number 5.
For me, this was the first time that
Apple Music. Go on.
this was the first time that no Yankee hip hop
Yeah, me too,
songs
me too.
made my top 5 list.
Yeah.
The only song that even made my top 10, and I wouldn't even consider this Yankee, was Tootsie Slide. And I'm not even sure, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, it was number 10. It barely made my top 10.
Now on Apple Music, my number 1 song is I don't know how Wonderful is my number 1 song. I don't get it.
You were probably just.
But
listening to it on the radio.
Omah 2, You by Omah. Number 3, Rema, Woman. Number 4, again, Wandeko. Number 5, Nobody, DJ Neptunes. Number 6, Omah, Bad Influence. Number 7, Damn. Number 8, Infinity. Number 9, In My Maserati. Number 10, Makbari was Zinoleski. It keeps going down. Burna Boy, Buju. Then 14, 15, Show Them Camp. Olamide. Bella Shmurda made it to number 19. E-Wallet.
But Bella Shmurda was more recent. So
Yeah, so it's count. This Apple Music is like almost up to date. Femi is number 24. And then my top artist on Apple Music that I listen to the most is in order, Burna Boy. So Burna Boy stayed consistent on both platforms.
Oh, really?
Number 2, Show Them Camp. I love Show Them Camp. So on Apple Music, I stream Show Them Camp a lot. 3, Wizkid. 4, Olamide. 5, Omah. My top albums of the year was Twice as Tall. Number 2 was Palm Wine Music, which is Show Them Camp. Number 3 is Carpe Diem, Olamide. Number 4 is Made in Lagos. Number 5 is Omale's new album. Number 6 is A Better Time.
Hey, which new album?
The What Have We Done?
He has a new album.
Yeah, he has a new
I didn't know that.
Number 6 is A Better Time.
Well, when did he drop that?
You know he's signed to Slack now, Black.
Black?
Yeah.
Omah?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
They have.
Oh, this dropped November 20.
Yeah, and it's made it to my number 5.
I remember the song that. Oh, so but it's more like an EP.
EP, yeah.
Yeah. So let me list my top 10.
The only American in here was the Weeknd.
Yeah, my top 10 was Odogu. That was number 1. MJ number 2. Lenu. I love that. That I'm not even surprised. I bastardized that song. All for You by Joe Boy. Know You by Ladipo Simi. Mad by SARS. Early in the year, I definitely rocked that song. Gunshots by Peruzzi. Wonderful by Burna
that's
Boy.
what I'm saying. Wonderful. I'm surprised this. I don't know. Maybe they sneaked it in, man.
And but you know when it first came out, we liked that song.
That's true.
I listened to that song.
True, yeah.
Number 9, No Denying by J Hus. That was my jam. And 2C Slide, number 10.
That's the only American.
And everything else mostly is Afrobeat. Which brings me to, I don't know, man. I'm starting to feel like, and maybe I'm probably biased because, Afrobeat is what we do here. But I'm starting to feel like hip hop might be nearing its peak. And there's gonna need to be another genre.
No, I don't think hip hop is nearing its peak.
You don't think so?
So I've been listening to. So obviously, like we all grew up listening to. My first ever like CD I bought with my Discman was "Pain Is Love" by Ja Rule. Do you get? We all grew up. I think I remember you saying the Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
Dog is it Dog Pound? What is it called?
Yeah, the Snoop Dogg and the Dog Pound.
Yeah. So I had that too. I had Wyclef Eclectic. These are like albums I had growing up, and that's what we listened to. Shit. What's the name of the guys that Burna Boy had that song with? No, anyways, whatever. Those guys. We used to listen to all these people growing up. Now, I started getting, there were Nigerian songs and Afrobeat songs coming up in the early 2000s and late 90s. But I personally started getting to Afrobeat in like 2009, 2008, when MI dropped the albums and Wizkid was coming up and all these people.
Yeah.
But the genre was still, you go to a Niger club, you listen to Yankee music.
Yeah.
Eventually, it started to get bigger. And as a Nigerian, I stopped listening to. I still fuck with Lil Wayne and all these people, but I started listening to more of my music as a Nigerian.
Clearly your playlist is full of Afrobeat now.
But the funny thing is, in 2008, I could quote every Lil Wayne lyric. I'm a Young Jeezy fan. Seeing the verses of Young Jeezy brought back memories of when I was a big fan. Rick Ross, all these things. So, but now they've given me more options. Yeah. And as a Nigerian, I can resonate more to these songs. So then it now got even worse where they weren't giving me just, dance songs or just street songs. Now you have Thames, you have Omah, you have, so now when I'm in the mood, the time I'm supposed to use I've been listening to The Weeknd because I like The Weeknd a lot. Now I got a Nigerian version of that kind of feel good, mellow-ish song. You know what I'm saying? So the genre itself has picked up, and as a Nigerian, my bias is there. I don't think hip hop is dead. I just think we're just.
I'm not saying it's dead.
Or it's coming to a peak.
I'm just saying I don't. How much bigger can it get?
We are just not listening to it anymore as much as before because now we have an option.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of other people too are starting to diversify their playlist.
But hip hop survived the surge of dancehall when dancehall came out. Dancehall when Sean Paul and Wyclef.
I know
Shaggy. Yeah.
But hip hop hadn't peaked yet. That's the thing. Hip hop is just peaking. Like the hip hop wasn't the biggest. The popular music right now is hip hop. The biggest genre right now is hip hop. If you look at the top 100 playlist, it's mostly hip hop songs.
Yes, there's still people that
and it's man. So the reason why I say this is because I just don't. I'm not saying it's dead. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like,
look at mumble rappers. They have their own.
They do
have their own millions and millions of their fan base. I don't think so. I just think we just are not interested in it as much.
No, I'm still interested in hip hop. I'm just trying to think of how much bigger can it? Like I feel like Drake has done everything. He's done the singing, he's done the rapping, he's done the mumble, he's mastered the whole thing. And the reason why I say this is because if you notice, no rapper has been able to top Drake. This guy has been on top for like a good 10 years.
I don't think anyone can top him.
Which tells me like there's no like who's going to be taking on the next phase of hip hop? Who's like the new guy that we're gonna say, okay, that's the
But
new
Drake. But the thing, and that's what I'm saying is hip hop, just like Afrobeat and every other genre, has its subgenres.
Yeah, it does.
Drake is the guy who, the same way Drake is the guy who conquered. He's everybody. Country music fans love him. Dance music fans love, house music fans love him. He's the one person that was able to transcend the
Everything
genre itself.
Yeah.
Since the likes of Jay-Z, you know what I mean? Jay-Z giving us a numb on Corey with Linkin Park. I can see Drake doing that kind of stuff. But since then, he's only, it's been Drake. But the genre itself, I don't think it peaked because people still coming up. I mean, did you ever think of mumble rap before mumble rap became a thing?
Yeah, but even mumble rap is not really like
People love it.
it's not really jumping like that. I follow this stuff. It's not really. It's not now. So the stuff that's really jumping right now is these rappers that kind of like sing, like these singing rappers. I won't even call it mumble rap. The mumble rap probably ended with Lil Uzi. After Lil Uzi, there's no one else that has come out with like that. Anyone's like really
that has been consistent.
Yeah, that has been. You know what I'm saying? Like after Future, Lil Uzi, those guys have kind of just cornered that market, and everyone goes to them for that kind of rap. And ever since then, it's like the only rappers that you hear of now are like, okay, the Baby, Little Baby. These are people that they sing in there. They're not mumble rappers. They're like the biggest rappers.
So what genre are you now saying is taking over now?
I'm not saying it's Afrobeat. I'm not saying that, but I do feel like Afrobeat is still on the rise. If you notice that, we're getting noticed in all over the world. I mean, there was still that list. I think top 20 list. Was it New York Times? What I forgot what publication that was.
It was the British GQ.
It was British GQ, and they had Wizkid's album, and so I feel like a genre like Afrobeat is still on the rise. I think it's still far away from taking over like mainstream. It's still far away from that. I'm just saying I don't see anywhere else hip hop can go at this point. But I may be wrong. Again, this is just me speculating. I don't really know the ins and outs like that. But just from my observation, I keep thinking, okay, where else can this thing go? There's no new rapper that I hear that I'm like, okay, that's the next guy. But if you think about Afrobeat, there's several guys that we can see that these guys can take this.
Let me see this signing.
If you look at someone like Afrobeat, there's several guys that we can see can take it from people like Burna and Wizkid. Like they have the potential. Would you admit? Like people that can carry on the banner of Afrobeat. There's artists. There's a lot of promising artists out there.
Just quick disclaimer. I don't think he actually signed
with Black.
Black.
I would hope not. I don't like artists signing to other artists.
I don't think so, sorry. I don't know why
I think it's pointless.
I don't know why I saw that earlier, but I don't think it.
But I don't know. We'll see, Sha. I may be wrong. Again, it's just me speculating.
Afrobeat is.
But you'll admit Afrobeat is on the rise.
It is on the rise. We're getting noticed. We're getting noticed in places, and it's gonna get eventually. So the Afrobeats, unfortunately, and I don't know if I like it this way, but America is like this sport, just like Hollywood. Mm-hmm. You have to leave. You see the British actors and everything. They didn't get popularity until they started acting in Hollywood movies. The big blockbusters. And that's the thing with Afrobeats. Until you start being able to be a household name in the States, that's when I think I can officially say, okay, Afrobeats to take over. You get just like Shaggy was, and like I said, Shaggy was not. Shaggy is Jamaican, but Shaggy is more American, if we're being honest, than he is Jamaican. And we need more people like that. And I think one person who's doing it well is
Burna.
No. Like we need more indigenous Africans that are here who are not. So Burna, Wizkid, and Davido are African artists whose their music is coming into America. Shaggy was an American artist.
Okay, so you're saying that we need more American indigenous people,
Africans, and the only
that
person
are doing Afrobeat type of music.
Guy, Rotimi, and he's
I see
fully
what you mean.
Afrobeats.
I see what you mean.
Rotimi is fully Afrobeats.
I see what you mean.
Wale tried, but he's a rapper. He's not an Afrobeat star. Yeah, he tried. So obviously he reps Naija, but the only one is Rotimi, and Rotimi is cornering that market now because he's literally I mean, Rotimi is actually Afrobeat. It's not even R&B. Like he's 100% Afrobeat.
He is.
Yeah.
Speaking of, but just talking about Drake and Nicki Minaj, them. Did you hear about Lil Wayne selling Drake and Nicki Minaj's masters
to who?
To it might have been to Universal Music Group. The rumor is $100 million. I think that's cheap for Drake and Nicki Minaj.
Drake and Nicki, yeah.
I think that's terribly cheap. So this is from Academics page story sparking major headlines this week. It was reported that Lil Wayne had sold his master recordings to Universal Music Group in $100 million deal, considering the fact that Bob Dylan sold his entire catalog for $300 million just weeks prior. Many were surprised that Wayne didn't push for more money. According to Music Business Worldwide, the reason why he settled for $100 million is quite clear. New information from Ron Sweeney's lawsuit clarifies that Lil Wayne was able to sell the entire Young Money catalog, not his own, which includes songs and albums from Drake, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, and more. It'll be interesting to see how this develops.
But let's be.
I think $100 million is cheap, Sha, for Drake. For Drake.
Oh dang! No. Drake. What Drake? Drake doesn't have an album on that Young Money.
He doesn't.
How this clear? It's unclear which of Drake's. I don't think Drake has any.
He has now.
Drake was not dropping albums when he was on that Young Money.
No, he was. Take Care was on that Young Money.
You sure?
Take Care was on that Young Money. The one before that, the mixtape before that was on that Young Money.
Was doing the mixtapes. Yeah.
So Far Gone was on that Young Money.
Take
Care was definitely on that Young Money. I know at some point.
Cash Money, but it's Cash Money.
Young Money and Cash Money. Young Money was an imprint under Cash Money, and Cash Money was under Universal Group. They're all rolled into one, and Lil Wayne owned those rights.
But Cash Money isn't that baby.
Cash Money is baby, so Cash Money is going to get paid too. But keep in mind, Young Money separated from Cash Money a few years ago. Remember, that was when Lil Wayne was fighting.
But Take Care is State's Cash Money Records.
Cash Money Records?
Yeah, not Young Money.
I don't know. You may be right.
Because I'm looking at it this way. Mm-hmm. Obviously, when you say Drake, you're like, guy Drake. But the question is, which Drake albums? Now, if it's some of the older mixtapes / maybe first album, probably yes, 100 million mice. And Nicki too. I don't think Pink Friday. Well, actually, no. Nicki was her most recent album. Queen was even released.
Nicki has always been on.
That's crazy, man. That is actually crazy.
I don't know. We'll see, Sha.
You gonna sell Pink Friday for 100 mil?
We'll see. We'll see.
Crazy.
They're saying
then he might be broke too. So
they're saying it's Drake's pre-2018 recordings as well as the grand majority of Nicki, as well as the grand majority of Nicki Minaj's discography, possibly even including future releases.
Dang,
that's a lot of money.
Crazy.
That's a lot of money.
If it's recent stuff, that's
a lot of money on the line. But I don't know.
Man, this can make Drake and Nicki didn't own the masters, so
they didn't.
Drake could have bought his masters.
He probably could
for that price.
He probably could. Drake is. I think Drake is probably making more money than all of them right now
together.
The way with the deals he has. But the thing is, Drake is not just music. He has deals. He has like deals with Apple, exclusive deals with Apple.
So why didn't he try to buy his masters himself?
Beats me. I don't know.
Negotiated cheaper sale for his masters.
What else in music, man? What else in music happened? Let me see. Any new drops? Any new songs dropping?
A couple songs. Major.
There's this one song. There's this one guy, Omah. Have you heard of him? Omah.
Is this supposed to be Omalay's twin brother?
I don't know. I was thinking about it. So I was like, was he trying to copy Omalay? But he goes by Omah. There's this song that he's on with Rexxie. You know that producer?
Yeah.
KPK.
Yeah, that was gonna be my middle song.
I love that track.
I didn't even know the guy's name was Omah. Is Rexxie? I thought on the song.
Rexxie does own the song. I think Omah is just featured on it. But Omah released a mixtape, which isn't bad. You should check it out. It's called sorry, it's not Omah. It's Mohbad.
I was about to say I don't know.
It's Mohbad. It's called Light. And there's this song that I heard on it that I just thought was really dope. I'm just gonna play a little clip of it. Check this out.
clan every time. Daddy nigga salary. 10 years I no see money. Stepmother no care. Landlord do they worry. My brothers are hungry. Daddy got the money. Make I go poly. I go poly, but I no go class. Daddy, I am sorry. I don't date do yahoo. I don't date take banku. I'm a pastor, see one who I am. Mommy just a pray. Daddy just a pray for me. Make it better for me. Me I no go school. Only thing I be do. Music me and you. This clan every time. You want you la loco, you want the love. And you la loco, you want the love. You.
Yeah, so that was Mohbad. That's called Sorry by Mohbad. It's off his mixtape, Light. I thought it was a really dope record. There's another song of his that we're going to play later on. I think what he said, you're going to play that for the middle song, right? Yeah, but I think he's another promising artist to look out for, man. He's been on quite a few records now. Any other new drops? I'm really surprised about the Omah album. I didn't even know he dropped. I've been out of the loop for a while.
The number
now.
one song in Nigeria is from that album.
What's the name of the song?
Godly. We can play that at the end.
Okay. Any other songs? Any other drops?
No. I don't think anybody's dropping anything again. I mean, Zlatan dropped. I like that song. Lagos Anthem.
Lagos Anthem. I haven't
Yeah,
heard
play
that.
real quick. Play real quick.
Zlatan?
But I don't think. I mean, see now they've cancelled Dirty December now, so.
Yeah, I was gonna even get to that.
Lagos Anthem.
Lagos Anthem.
Should be like.
Oh, okay, over there.
Every night. Lọ́nà tó dé tó fẹ́ lọ jayé. Pàdé mi gbé Austin Martin, èmi gbé Bugatti. Lálẹ́ Friday, a fẹ́ lọ jayé. Dem go talk say money no dey Lagos. They talk say money no dey Lagos. Dem dey talk say money no dey Lagos. A fẹ́ lọ jayé. Dem dey talk say money no dey Lagos. They talk say money no dey Lagos. Dem dey talk say money no dey Lagos. Wọ́n ṣáná wọlé.
Láti yapa títí wọ Bàrígà àwọn ọmọ ìyá mi sẹ́ ọlọ́wọ́n gbowó pa wọ́n sì lé ara wọn ọ̀nà gẹ̀rẹ̀ ọmọ máa gbowó sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó jọ gẹ̀rẹ̀.
Say money no dey Lagos.
I still think that guy's on his last legs.
I like that song.
That's just me
That's
personally.
a very good Dirty December song. Unfortunately, you won't enjoy it.
Yeah, so Lagos,
Because singing
apparently they are...
singing about money in Dirty December is an amazing thing. Because people that have money will dance with you, man.
Yeah.
They will spray the money.
There was an announcement that Lagos State is cancelling like all events this Christmas and pretty much trying to shut down Dirty December.
Yeah. Wiz was supposed to have a show. Then Burna Boy was supposed to have a show the day before with the same company was bringing them to Nigeria. Mm-hmm. They were going to have other artists on the roster. Those two shows got cancelled.
But guys, people are still traveling back home this December.
Davido's DMW show got cancelled. In Lagos, the cases in Lagos, the second wave has hit Lagos.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It has. So, it's official.
This is according to Sanwo-Olu. COVID-19 second wave. Lagos shuts down schools, nightclubs, others with immediate effect. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has announced the closure of schools, nightclubs, concerts, carnivals, and street parties in the state till further notice. In a statement on Friday, this was December 18th, The governor also ordered that all places of worship must ensure that no gathering exceeds 2 hours, and also that no gathering exceeds 50% of the maximum capacity. This comes a day after the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 disclosed that there are indications that Nigeria has entered the second wave of infections. Interesting. But guy, I'm still seeing people going home.
Yeah, I know people that went home.
So-
I'm supposed to go.
So what are these people going to do when they get back home? And I feel for these artists, what are they gonna do? Like December is when a lot of them make that's their bread and butter.
Why do you think the ones in Uganda are upset? Okay, because let's be honest. Honestly, even Thames and Omah, what that show they perform, they're not even able to perform it in Nigeria. So,
No, they can't.
yeah, they can't. But I mean, like I said, they weren't the ones supposed to suffer. But
You know what I suspect? I suspect that there's going to be a lot of activities in Nigeria this December. And when I say activities, you know what I mean? Like there's going to be a lot of desperation, and desperation only breeds one thing.
what?
It's just going to breed. I don't want to spell it out, but you know what I'm saying.
What do I say? Riots.
No, not riots. Just there's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of people getting it in. Let me just put it that way. Let me just put it that way, because that's what happens, man. I feel like the club circuit, when they shut all that stuff down, that's a lot of money that's not exchanging hands. And I don't know. I'm curious as to see what the effects will be, but we'll see. What do I know? I haven't done Dirty December in years, so
No, the effect is Lagos is going to lose money. Lagos gained, Dirty December last year. Do you know how much money goes into it from your accommodation?
it's a lot.
Guy,
A lot of foreign money too coming
Average
in.
one person spending $1,000,
I know.
and you have literally 50,000 people going back. Just think about that, or 20,000 people, however many thousand people going back.
But what I'm saying is that money is still gonna get spent. There's still gonna be a lot of Olushus on the streets doing their thing.
But no, not really. Because
You don't think so?
A lot of people did not go back.
You think
People went, but a lot of people.
But
didn't
you
go.
don't think
Not
it was as much as-
Not as much. I know a lot more people. I was supposed to go, but I know a lot more people that didn't go. Also,
they scored again?
no, the game ended 2-1.
Oh, the game ended.
Also, not everybody is going there to go and find knacks now. You just want to groove, and when you're there and there's no groove, you're just gonna be like, "Fuck it, I'm going back." They're gonna lose money because you have like W Bar. That was a very packed place, but it was a nice place to be. You have, all the lounges. Just go and turn up. You can't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
You can do your private turn ups probably if you guys do a house party. Maybe that's what people are going to do, house parties. Maybe people are going to do, rent houses and do house parties. But yeah, Lagos is going to lose money based from the Dirty December money. But you can't blame them because it's COVID. See, Nigeria handled COVID. They didn't believe in COVID, number one. But number two, they were able to handle COVID a little well because not too many people were coming into Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now you've brought an influx of foreigners and the requirement is you got to do a COVID test and have it certified, I think, before you travel to Nigeria.
Yeah.
But I read somewhere again that obviously is officials, you can bribe people
To get in.
to get a positive test or to
Negative
to get
test,
A,
you
I mean,
mean?
negative test to get or to get it certified as negative. I don't know how true that is, but I read somewhere some article saying that people that they are able to buy. So is Nigeria? So like, how many people are going to come in with COVID? A lot. And then other countries, you go in there, they tell you to quarantine. Nigeria is not telling you to quarantine. So because think about it, even this way, think about it. I can do a COVID test today.
Yeah.
It's 7 days. They say it has to be, I think, 7 days latest or whatever. So I do a test today.
Yeah.
It says I'm negative. I get it certified and I go to Nigeria. But I can get COVID tomorrow. But my test has already come back that I'm negative.
Yeah. So there's a gap
There's a gap. And usually other countries tell you when you come in, quarantine yourself. Nigeria is not keeping track. Nigeria is not telling you to quarantine. You are getting off that plane and are going straight to go and turn up. you're going straight to his concert, Burna Boy's concert, Davido's concert. Think about it.
Yeah.
That's why so I'm not surprised it's the second wave.
Oh, we'll see, Sha. Hopefully it doesn't get too messy.
I'm not surprised.
Did you see the video of your boy's video?
Oh, Bella Shmurda.
Bella Shmurda.
Zero creativity, man. You're singing about 419 fraud, and your video is about you robbing a Bank of America. Like,
this is the premier pro version of the most.
Let me
how does that even correlate?
I mean, isn't that the whole point? Isn't that what Yahoo boys mostly do? Rob from America. For the most part,
they're physically trying to show you in a literal manner.
It was supposed to be metaphorical, I'm guessing.
That we went to go and rob Bank of America. Come on, man. Guy, you have it muted now.
Okay.
Eyes on my neck, eyes on my lips. Many days I never sleep.
They even have Biden's picture in the back. Do you see that?
Kamala.
They robbing the Bank of America. I thought it was interesting, but yeah.
Like, why did you just do Bank of Zlatan, Bank of Bella, Bank of Jigga? Like, I don't know, man.
Well, good luck. And they put the logo visa
there, and they.
They actually put the logo, the Bank of America logo. These guys are useless. I thought it was funny, though. I thought it was provocative, if you ask me.
I think they could have made a better choice. I think you could have done actual, like, But then again, Bella Shmurda, like, I don't know how much money, but what the budget he has for music video is, too, so.
Do you know who he's signed under yet?
Know. Even on my lay self, I don't think Keycard Records really spends much money on his videos. Because his videos are not...
They're not grand. You don't think they are?
Not grand.
I like the Packwell video too was basic, but it was simple. I didn't mind it. They obviously didn't go over budget, but I liked it. I liked it. I enjoyed
Mayorkun's new song, Your Body. Guy.
Is there a video for it?
Yeah. I feel like I've heard it before.
Gay.
Literally, I feel like I've heard it before.
Like, you feel like
the first time
are you trying to say
singing along?
Are you trying to say he's starting to get repetitive? Is that what you're insinuating?
Maybe on this track. Play it, but I swear, as the first time I listened to it, I felt like I listened to the song before.
Damn.
My body on your body.
It's the mayor of Lagos, baby.
Like, the song is not bad though, but I just feel like I've heard it before.
Tell me waiting there, your body, now your body, get your body shaking.
I like the song though. That's the funny part.
Now your body, get your body shaking. Go Madam Sergeant, tobacco fun, and it pay up.
You know what song I love? And I come from the best, oh. Your guest. Have you heard that song? That's my joint.
The best, exactly.
That's
Do you know?
my
Guess
joint.
what? Do you know why you're
So
thinking of the
you
best?
think that's why?
Because you just heard the song. Is why you're thinking of the best. Play the best. You're gonna see. Like, literally, that was what happened. I just finished listening to the best, and I was like, this song came in like maybe 4 tracks later on the playlist, and I was like, bro, did I just hear this song? Or something like,
and they sing like one day cool.
There's no music video yet, but there's just something about it. But see how it reminded. See, even the beats.
Yeah.
Can you hear? Maybe it's the beats that made me. See, you get. But I like the song. I like both songs.
Did we play it last time?
Probably.
Betty no fi hate my mother. Olohun le won sita lie. Mama baby girl. One day I come from the ghetto, so get. You ghetto, so ghetto. Oh ghetto, then forget. Yeah. When I give my attack, oh you defend.
But you see that chorus?
Yeah.
Your body.
Yeah, it sounds
similar. And that's what happened. I was like,
it was probably the same producer. I won't be surprised.
I think it's just the same. It's the same formula or concept.
Yeah. Let's move on to other things, man. So this app.
Do you have any new song that you've liked from this guy's album?
Whose album? Davido. Yeah. The best I love. Like any new songs. No, the album has just kind of gone.
Have you listened to it from beginning to end?
I have, but I haven't. It's not like.
Have you listened to it from beginning to end recently?
No. No, it's not like I told you. It's not a bad album. It has bangers, but it's not an album like. I see myself going back to
play the songs you like.
Yeah, I play the songs I like.
I
play the songs I like. Let's move on to other things, man. I want to talk about this new app that's on the scene. This new social media app. It's called Clubhouse. For those that don't know. It's a very interesting app. Do you want to explain what this app does, Wale, for us, or should I do the honors?
I could explain. So my first introduction to the app, and I don't know how true this was, but I supposedly heard something about it. So somebody that I know in tech reached out to me and said, "Hey, have you heard about this new app?" And I said no, and they were like, "Oh, it's like a good networking kind of app."
Yeah,
and
so that's how they sold it to you. Is a networking app,
kind of networking, like a place where you can talk to people in the tech field, and they sent me invite to join the app.
Yeah,
and that's what it was. But quickly, it started getting.
How long ago was that? Like a month ago?
Probably a little over a month ago.
Okay. Because I saw you guys talking about it. I had no clue what you guys were talking about.
Probably a little over a month ago. Probably more than a month ago. Now, might have been like very early November, late September. But then I wasn't very active on it. But I looked it up. So what I saw was just basically. At the time, so you just enter a room and follow people who are just following by. When I didn't even know what all that was about. But the format is, from what I can understand, it's almost the best way I can describe it is like listening to a podcast live.
Yeah.
So you talk, you can get in there, listen to people.
Yeah.
And you can also speak if you're up on this quote unquote stage or whatever they call it. And I can see why it can be considered a networking app because if you think about people in similar fields getting into a room, as they call it, and you guys start talking,
you can end up with a room with an important person. And some people have. Some people have gotten like follow up.
Yeah, you can get a job from there. Possibly, you can. If you get into a room and someone is say, "Hey, I'm looking to hire," and you speak your resume there, and they say, "Hey, email me," and so. And you can also learn. You can listen and learn.
There's a lot of learning going on there.
But there's also So
I feel like you're not doing a good enough job explaining the format. So the format of the app is there's several rooms, right, that pop up on your feed. And these rooms are determined by the people that you follow.
Yes.
So if I'm following Wale now, a lot of times I can see a lot of the rooms that he's in.
No, you can only see so the homepage, if you want me to go into details, the homepage has rooms.
Yeah.
Now the first set of rooms that you see are rooms that people you follow are presently in.
Yes.
So either they are speaking or they are listening.
Yes.
Then you can see it and the title or whatever. Now you can search more.
Yes.
And look
for
more, explore, and you can find more random rooms that people you're not following are into.
Yeah, but it's usually people related to your network, though. It's not random. I don't think it's random. Like, I don't. Do you think it's just random?
I think it's random.
You think so?
I think it's random.
I'm seeing rooms that like Joe Budden is in. I'm not following Joe Budden, but I know that you guys follow Joe Budden.
I don't follow Joe Budden.
You don't?
No. Every time I'm in,
so maybe it's just the popular rooms.
The popular rooms at that point. So I don't follow Joe Budden. So you see a room is in, but So
in these rooms, right? Whoever sets up the room usually is the moderator. They can pick whoever they want other moderators to be, and the other moderators can pretty much bring people to the, because there's also an audience. There's an audience, and in some of these rooms you have like 1,000 member audiences.
And what they do is they split it into 3 categories. So they split it to the people who speak.
Yes.
And then they split it to people that are followed by speakers.
Yes.
And then they split it into the regular
audience.
So
the people just listening.
That way, if you're a speaker and someone that follows you and you follow back is in there, you can easily find them rather than having to, it's almost like
Exactly.
And also, it notifies you when if you're a speaker, it notifies you when somebody you follow enters the room.
Yeah.
It
does.
Yeah, it does notify you.
Okay. So now,
and as a moderator, I've been a moderator once. It's weird when people raise up their hand because it just keeps popping up on your phone. Like,
it does.
These person, like keeps popping up, and it's like.
But so what I find unique about this app, which is it's unique from every other app, is there's something more.
Oh, and you can join groups.
Groups.
You can join, so you can be members of certain groups.
When you say group, I talk about of a room.
No, so official clubs. So they set up. Oh, you see all those people that have like the greenhouse.
Yeah, that's what I
noticed.
that.
Now I just went
that.
there. There's a Fashion Radio, which is an official club.
Okay.
And now they're doing a Nicki Minaj appreciation. So I'm a member of only one club, and that's the Manchester United fans, FC fans.
Okay.
So we have probably 100 or
yeah,
something.
you have those rooms too. Like whenever there's a game on, right? Yeah. There's usually rooms of people
what
just
happens is it's an official club.
Yeah.
So room. So an official club. So people have joined. I think there are hundreds of people in here. They've joined. And when it's a game room, anybody can set up. I guess whoever who has the authority can set up like, Man U is playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
You can schedule. I know you can also schedule stuff. When you make a room, you can schedule, like say, hey, Wally wants to we want to do Smiling Software podcast.
Yeah.
And we schedule. Everybody that follows me will see that notification that there's a Smiling Podcast room opening up.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I noticed
so
that.
You can do that.
So you can. So what again? What I find very unique about this is there's something more intimate about it because this is not Twitter. This is not Twitter. Twitter is different in the sense that you can drop a comment, people can reply to that comment, you can come back to it whenever you like, right? But this one is different in the sense that you can hear people, you can listen to them, you can respond immediately. Like if you're on the stage, for instance, someone says something, right? You can check that person right there and then. Unlike Twitter, where it's like you say whatever you want to say and you can come back to it whenever. So that's one of the things that I find very unique about this app. Another thing that I find unique about this app is how people are using it for different purposes. So like we said, some people use it for networking. It works out for them. Some people use it a lot of people use it for flirting, obviously. There's a lot of flirting going on. Like, there are all these games that people play. So there's some rooms that never close, right? Is that fair to say? Yeah. Like there's some very, very popular rooms that everyone knows that they go there. And what you're seeing happening is that you're beginning to have moderators become like, they're sort of like influencers almost. It's almost like whenever they set up a room, and if that room is very popular, if you see like hundreds of people going in there all the time, you know that that's one place that if you want to reach an audience, you can go into. So in a way, whoever is moderating that room, whoever created that room has become sort of an influencer. So you're seeing this influencer culture show up in these apps.
You're seeing people with thousands of followers and they're not following people back, and everyone's waiting for them to set up a room.
Another thing that I find interesting is how easy it is to even gain followers on your other social media platforms.
Oh yeah.
Because all you have to do is just put your link there. You're talking, right? And I can't count how many times I've done this when I'm in a room and I'm hearing someone talk and I'm curious to see, okay, what's this person about? Like, you click on that person right there.
I do it on
Instagram or their Twitter.
I do it on Twitter a lot. When someone tweets something, I just like, let me even see what this person
looks like, right?
Yeah, and you look like the stupid tweet you just tweeted or the funny, like
exactly. Like and if it's someone that you find interesting enough, you can decide that you want to follow that person.
Yeah.
So I think there's all sorts of things playing out
because you can then find it's like, remember, okay, so put it this way. So imagine so there's a lot of music heavy rooms in there.
Yeah.
And also there's a lot of cap in there. A lot of people coming to lie and obviously claim who they're not. But there's a lot of music heavy rooms in there. So when the music heavy rooms has, DJs that have been responsible for hit records, producers, engineers. Yeah. And these people, when they come in there, so I was in a room one time. It was Jay-Z's birthday. Yeah. They were doing an appreciation, and everybody and anybody that was associated with Jay-Z came in there to tell their stories, from early days. Like, 21 Savage was in there, and you could tell that a lot of stuff they were speaking about was new to him, about how they used to create music, about how and like you can tell he was taking notes. I'm pretty sure from then on, he's probably going to follow some of these guys that he didn't even know much about before.
For sure.
Like, hey, yo, dude, let's work together.
Oh,
music.
for sure.
And so imagine you're like an up and coming. Imagine 21 Savage is not up and coming. Imagine you're an up and coming guy in that room, and somebody comes in who, not everybody that has a Grammy or is a good engineer or well known is verified on Twitter and has 52 million whatever followers. It can be a guy you don't even know, but he comes in there and starts to speak about his resume and speak about the knowledge, and you're like, dang, who's this guy? You click on his page, you follow him, and you're like, you can reach out to him later on that platform. So yes, it's a good feature to have.
It is.
It's a very good feature to have. But like you said, the rooms people are doing what they want to do with the room.
Yes, exactly.
So it's up to you to decide, is this room interesting you? Is this topic interesting? And you and I were in a room yesterday that piqued interest.
Yeah.
And
which room was that?
The egalitarian.
Oh, yeah.
And we're all talking about the Nigerian political system, and it was a very, very well-versed conversation that we're all able to have and learn.
So there's a lot of rooms that are on there where we talk Niger matters, and there's a lot of people that they're really focused on trying to find solutions. Like, these are people that are serious. Now, again, this is just us talking. It's almost like a town hall, so to speak.
Almost like a town hall,
And people come in, they chime in. I've chimed in a few rooms. There was this one room that I gave my opinion. You could tell people weren't really happy about what I had to say, but it was basically this idea of how do we solve the problem that is Nigeria. And I said it plain and simple. I'm like, look, unless we're willing to shed blood for this country, I don't think anything's gonna happen. The threat of life is the only thing that can make a lot of these politicians have any kind of sense. Anything short of that, they're gonna find ways to knock it down. And I even admitted, I was like, look, it's easy for me to say that because I'm here in the United States. I'll admit I don't have the bravery to say I want to go and fight any kind of fight. I just don't have it in me. But I just felt like until we have someone that's willing to motivate people to go out there and say enough is enough, nothing's gonna change. And you could tell, the room was a little bit. They weren't really happy about what I had to say.
And rooms and that's why I'm going to reference the room yesterday. When they were in, because in that room there were contrary beliefs. There were beliefs of people saying it's done, there's nothing we can do, this railway makes no sense, and then there were people who were talking about the railway, Lagos Ibadan railway, and there were people in that room that someone said, hey, you know what, I'm going to go take the train next week and let you guys know about it. And there are people that came and said, look, I still think it's a very good idea. And they were able to buttress their points. And, and I feel like we all had a sensible conversation. Now, in some rooms, when you make a contrary statement, go against the grain of the popular room, then you start getting negative vibes. People, I feel also a lot of people try to be too politically correct. I feel a lot of people try to please everybody.
I see that in some rooms.
I see that in some rooms. And I also see some rooms where it's like, and it's weird. So you can have one opinion and say, hey, I don't like. The most common one I've seen is the word female. So I was in a room.
The use of the word female.
So I was in a room. And
for those that don't know, some girls find it offensive that people would use the word female.
Yeah, female. No, I don't use male, I don't use female. But sometimes, where's the male bathroom, because it's named male and female. Now, some people find it offensive, and some don't find it offensive. And I was in a room, and everybody was talking about, I can't remember, but they were talking about stuff, and that had to do with, I don't remember. But most of the people that were they were asking people, I was just listening, asking people what things that irked them in relationship. Yeah. And, the women spoke and the men spoke when the men were speaking. And out of maybe, 20 men speaking, maybe one man happened to use the term female in a sentence,
and she got triggered
this
immediately.
Woman had to come out and say, this lady, and had to say, oh yeah, just before excuse me, can I say something before we go on? Can you please not refer to women as females? And, other women like, oh, yeah, true, and then one woman was like, I really don't care. Like,
you don't give a shit.
So, but it's like now to me, it then stems from okay, sis, I understand that the word might trigger you, but read the room. In a room of 20 men talking, only one man happened to say the word female. Is it enough for you to then take over that conversation and say, well, let's stop talking? You get what I'm saying? It's like, I understand it's your personal belief and you have every right to believe that way, but it's one example of one person just, we're not perfect.
Yeah. And wait, so, but you're saying that someone spoke back against it in the room?
So
or did everyone just say?
Well, the guy started saying stuff like, why is it a problem? And then, it started becoming a back and forth thing, and I just left at that point.
But you see, that's what I'm saying about this app. There's something about this app where the mode of communication, it's not enough to just say you just want to, unfollow them or block them or whatever. If you're in a room, you're in a room. You can't, if that person is in the room, you can't block them. If that person is on the stage, you can't say, you can't, you can just leave. You can either leave, but that person will still have that stage to talk. And if you leave, you're just going to look petty. I guess the point I'm trying to make is that there's something about this app where it's easy for you to come out and tweet something or put something on your status or put something on your IG and say something and leave. And obviously you can ignore the comments. But there's something about actually speaking and saying it from your own mouth and having to back it up, because there'll be people there that will check you. And I've seen it. I've seen it a few times. There was this one room I was in where this girl, they were having, it was about this woke discussion, this whole Black Lives Matter, all this stuff, right? And someone used the word woke. And this lady was like, I'm very, very offended. I'd rather us not use this word woke, because woke is something that gets used as like a mocking way for people that are fighting for social justice, right? And, she said that, and you could tell that under normal circumstances, if she was probably in her Twitter circles, everyone would probably have applauded her. She'll have probably been getting all this. But right there and then, someone called out like, no, like, someone was like, look, okay, so if we're not going to use the word woke, what's a word we can use for it? She was like, I'd rather you not even use any kind of word at all. Why? And then they were like, so how are we going to explain what we want to explain? You're pretty much taking language from us. And it was the most beautiful thing ever, because this lady, she's very, very influential. I'm not going to say her name, but it was the most beautiful thing ever, because you had some people supporting her, but then you also had some people pushing back. Like, what do you mean? How do you get to monopolize words and take words and decide, because it offends me, like, where do we end? And there was just something beautiful about it. And the fact that there's an audience to see, you can hear both sides and you can kind of make up your mind, as opposed to all these other social media sites where you only see things that I'm sure you know how these sites work. You tend to see things that you generally like. They push those things to you. The same thing happens on Facebook. Same thing happens on Twitter. But I feel like in this new format, in this new social media format, there's something about it that I just find more honest and more organic. Now, obviously, it still gets abused in many ways. There's some rooms where it's like some stuff be going on, like the rooms at night. There's just all kinds of wild shit going on.
It's like Twitter after dark too at one point.
It is.
But back to the whole woke thing, and that's so and same thing with the female thing. I've heard it more than once. Personally I don't use it, and I want to address that too. I don't use the word female.
Why?
It doesn't even roll off the tongue of my mouth. I don't use male. I don't use female. Jigget. Like I use man, woman, jigget, boy, girl. So it's not like I intentionally pull back. But somebody. But if one-on-one, you can say, if we're cool, or I call you a female, and you say, hey, well, I actually don't appreciate being called a female.
Yeah.
Because being called a female is, a female is somebody who's what's the definition again? It's denoting to the sex that can bear offspring.
Yeah.
Or produce eggs, and it's usually a sex which can be fertilized by male. So it's basically you're called female because you are able to give birth. I can understand for whatever reason you don't want to be.
Is that the definition?
That's the official definition, yeah. So it's the female is and that's why I said the day I don't call people female, but the day someone explained to me, I can see why people get upset. You know, so it's like, that's why. Because the same way I've met someone introduce like their sister and say, oh, this is my married sister. And the sister was like, why you say married? Like, as in, yes, I'm married, but like marriage does not define who I am. And it's true. Some people don't feel like I'm a person now outside of being able to give birth and stuff like that. So if I call you a female, you can address me and say, hey, actually, don't call me female because I don't like this is why. But if I'm talking in a context and I say, oh, something female, I don't think it's in your place to, because you don't like that word, to then come and start checking me like that woman did with the woke.
Yeah.
It's like, I understand you have a personal problem, but I did not call you a female. I did not call you. So now don't turn the room into your whole agenda against, you know, and then if you do, educate me on, don't come and start making it seem like I've committed a capital crime and say, oh, actually, you know what, I like your point, Wale, but just so you know, some women might not find it interesting in you calling, you know, it's different than the whole woke. Everybody use woke. Yes, you can use woke to mock something if you want to, but you can also use woke to refer to, you know, something positive. So why?
But clearly, what's going on is that some people are already starting to get canceled, and I'm seeing it as a result of these clashes, and it's happening. It's happening more and more.
You see, the funniest thing was Kevin Hart. Did you see Kevin Hart room? You weren't on there.
I wasn't there.
So there's a room that is Kevin Hart really funny.
Yeah.
And
Kevin Hart showed up.
Kevin Hart showed up, and then they were letting him have it to his face.
Are you serious?
And he was trying to defend himself.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like,
That's wild. But you know, but I like it. I like that people can express themselves in this way. I'm very, very encouraged. I hope the app doesn't get derailed. I'm already hearing of some other apps adopting their own type of Clubhouse, like Twitter. Twitter has something called Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, Twitter just wants to have everything. So they already have fleets.
Yeah, but they don't have it open to the public yet. They only have a few people there.
Yeah.
So what's Fleet?
Fleet is like story, Insta story.
I've been seeing
Twitter
those.
has
I've been seeing
Insta
those.
story.
I've been avoiding those because I just feel like it's not. You see.
So Twitter wants to is trying to find a way to make you its one stop.
It's one stop shop.
Yeah, you don't need to go anywhere else. And honestly, if I was the owner of Clubhouse, I'll sell to Twitter.
I wouldn't. I would hold on because people really like Clubhouse. People really like. I've heard feedback.
Here's my thing is, unless he has off the top of your head, think about how do you think he can monetize it?
There's ways that he can put ads into it now. Snap figured out how to do ads.
And I've stopped using Snap. Even Instagram story itself.
Instagram to figure out how to use
once ads come in, it's really
he's not going to start with ads initially because initially you don't put ads there. I think you need to grow it as much as possible. You need to make it like
outside of ads. What else can you make money from?
That's people's data. People's data.
So he's gonna sell data.
Yeah, isn't that what Facebook does? They just sell people's data.
Because at this stage, I'm thinking, bro, if I was him,
it's the user base.
I'll sell it.
The bigger the user base, the more money you
sell it and just
potential you
Twitter,
have.
rather than include Twitter Spaces in your, because here's the problem with Twitter Spaces. How am I going to see the rooms to start off with? Yeah,
so Twitter Spaces is going to be like Twitter, but it's going to be like global rooms. It's not going to be as intimate.
It's not going to be intimate, exactly.
And I think another difference
for people like me that my page is private. Yeah, a lot of people can't interact with my page if you're not following me and I'm not following back. Yeah, with the Clubhouse, I don't have to follow everybody in the room.
No, you don't, which is what I like. So that's one of the things that they pointed out. They also said that for the Twitter Spaces, you can put like Twitter links. Like you can actually type in stuff. And for me, it starts to take away from the experience.
It doesn't make sense.
I shouldn't have to, I don't want to have to be able to type anything. I think it should be strictly audio, strictly conversations, and that's what the app should be.
It's funny how quick people, so that room yesterday when I was in, when we were talking about the trains, it's funny how quick you can, get followers. A lot of people followed me from listening. Yeah. I did follow the moderators because I was interested in seeing what other rooms they go into. Yeah.
Same, I've done that before.
But a lot of other people randomly followed me on there. The other room where I was doing the game concentration, a I won that game. Shout out,
Yeah.
Same thing. A lot of random people just follow,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, I mean, at this stage, I follow everybody back, but I think at this stage, I'm gonna try and refine because there's some rooms I don't want to see.
Yeah.
Like when I've been into 2 game rooms.
Yeah.
One of the game rooms was the one you saw that were playing concentration, and the other one was that one I had to enter that one, and I won because it was like, my team won. They were doing name the Afrobeat tune.
Yeah.
Early 2000s. I was like, guy, this is the best game for me to get. So
Yeah.
like they were playing music of snippets of Afrobeat songs from the early 2000s, and you're supposed to just name the tune. So
there are some mad rooms. We have to talk about the fact that there were some wild rooms at night.
rooms. I don't like, bro. Like
I know you don't want to talk about it.
It's like it's not important to be honest.
It's not important, but
It's just like Twitter after dark. Twitter after dark.
So what is Twitter after
When
dark?
Twitter, there was a time, years ago when Twitter hasn't. Maybe Twitter has peaked, but years ago when Twitter was just starting to peak or start to fire, there was Twitter after dark. There was on Black Twitter.
What was it about?
That was where like you will see people like
posting
pictures or posting porn or retweeting porn or it was like, and it was mostly if you were on like there's Niger Twitter, and when I mean Niger Twitter, if you're following mostly Nigerians, you see, but I think it was mostly Black Americans, and I think Nigerians then started their own version of Twitter after that. Do you know how many people on Twitter, in Niger Twitter, have slept with each other? A lot. Because those days, that's what they used to link up. Because I used to wonder, like, the reason I found out, I used to wonder, like, one of my guys, early on, he was on Twitter, and he had so many followers, so every time there's gist, it was when I started giving the history of this whole Twitter after dark and out Nigeria. Because every time there's a gist, it's like everybody in Nigeria knew everybody's gist at the time.
Yeah.
They knew who was fucking who was praying for. And I was like, how do these people know this? It's like, because these people link up on Twitter and they knock on their followers and this and that in Nigeria. So like, it's the same thing. We're sexual beings. So they're going to be some,
So from what I understand is that, and I'll give an example. Is like, so I heard from what I understand, like, Joe Budden, for instance, they say any room he enters, the chicks are always in there.
Yeah, chicks are always there.
Bad chicks are always in there, right?
And they're always interested in talking to Joe. And
then so they start talking, and then what he does is he just has them, pretty much they do like all these dare games, and then he has them change their pictures.
Pictures, yeah.
And from what I heard, it's usually just like really wild. Which I find interesting, but I think it's fine. I think it's nice that people use it for different things. I think it's awesome.
Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, that like, people use it for different.
You can't really tell someone how to use something. So whatever floats your boat. So like I've gone through the explore page before and I've seen a porn room. I don't know what they're doing. I did not enter to clear to find out. But it was literally type porn. Maybe they're talking about their favorite porn scenes or whatever. So it's like
you also have the moon rooms too.
You have that too.
Yeah, you have the moon rooms. You have the rooms where
I'm pretty sure I've seen a submissive something room, BDSM
room.
Yeah, it's possible. These people,
hey, the kids, man, this is the new hangout spot.
I don't even think they are kids.
This is the new hangout spot.
They're very sexual, and the same thing too with the whole quote unquote Twitter after dark back then. It's also down to who you follow.
Yeah, it is.
When you're following certain types of people, that are involved into this things, you will see it. Yeah. If you're not, you only hear about it and say what's going on, like stuff like that. So it's whatever you want to do, my guy. Like
it's a dope app. I like it.
It's
I like
endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. There's all sorts. Networking. Anything, like dating.
Once I go into I've seen rooms where they're dating. I've seen rooms where they said exchange numbers.
Yeah, where they're doing like speed dating. I saw like speed dating or something like that.
I was telling you like podcast. We should do it for a podcast. We should do a podcast room where we talk. Eventually, if we build enough, clout on there, you can or get to know a lot of these proper people, especially those guys in that room yesterday. Yeah, we can do a podcast. But so from time to time when I go in there, I go just explore page a lot because the people I follow are usually in the same rooms every day now, so I see the same. So I go and explore, and that's where I start seeing, different things people are doing. And like you said, there's the dating ones. You see something speed dating. You see this one. You see I saw one Yoruba, and there's some that are just cringy. You see Yoruba
there's
demon stories.
There's some where it's like language, like Igbo language,
learn
where
Yoruba,
all they learn Yoruba, learn Igbo,
yeah.
and all they do is just speaking
Igbo, yeah. So it's like imagine
Igbo.
that's and so imagine you're like, so let's put it like this. Let's say you're someone who's very, very you want to network. You can find rooms for you to network. If you're somebody who's into the nasty stuff, you can find rooms for that. If you're someone who's feeling like I want to learn Igbo, you can speak Igbo with other people. You can learn. The room we went into, the pidgin one. That's what I went to that room because I was like, let me go and refine my pidgin English. Unfortunately, they're not speaking pidgin English inside because apparently the room got taken over. And most people that come in cannot really speak pidgin, so they don't speak pidgin. But that was why I went into because the name interested me. I saw Pigeon Bear Pal. I was like, oh shit, let me go and learn new Pigeon slangs.
I think
it's really up to you.
We're heading to a place where people are going to be. It's like the world is getting flatter
and multicultural. You get into rooms that are talking about African stuff, and you see non-Africans in there. As Africans too, we get it. Yeah, exactly. So it's multicultural. It's good. It's good.
I feel like where we're heading towards now is like, you know how before, right, where you're friends with people that you hung out with in real life. We're heading to a place where it's like your friends are going to be people like
virtual
across the world, like that, you know. And the more of these apps you see, Twitter, Facebook, the world is getting flatter. And the fact that when you also add to the fact that COVID, right, is making us be able to socialize in person more. And this is what people are having to resort to. You're going to start seeing more of this, where it's like, you know, before where you would meet people at the club, now it's going to be...
Your own is just about dating.
No, it's not just about dating. When I say meeting people, it could be friends, it could be dating, it could be anything, just regular people. The fact that there's COVID and we can't be as social in person, this is what we're going to end up with.
House Party tried this, but House Party failed because House Party was mainly... So House Party did something similar. Think about it. I think Clubhouse probably took the foundation from where House Party...
Yeah, what happened to House Party? I want to have potential.
Because think about it. House Party had rooms.
Yeah, where you could play games too.
Yeah, you could play games. But I think where House Party failed is... I think for the most part, you were in rooms or conversations with people you already knew.
Oh, yes. It was like people that you followed, right?
Yeah, people you followed.
But then you could also have people that you didn't know join rooms.
That's somebody you followed.
That's someone you knew.
It's like, so you still needed that somebody you followed.
So, but no one really uses House Party like that anymore?
I didn't use it more than like a day.
I know. It came and went. People were excited. And it just left.
I think it was the day we did games.
Yeah, you could play games on there.
Games, yeah. But no, so with House Party, from what I remember, it's like, I think... You weren't meeting. Also, it was more of just we haven't gone out because of COVID. Let everybody just do this as our link up.
Yes.
The way we do poker virtually.
Yeah.
But someone who's not interested in poker is not going to be interested in our virtual Zooms for poker and joining. Same with House Party if you're not really feeling the room. But here, I don't have to know anybody.
Plus, another thing about House Party is that people actually have to show themselves in person.
Yes, show themselves.
And
well, I think you can turn off your camera.
You can turn off your camera, but then that takes away from it. Yeah. But this Clubhouse, you don't have to. You can be in your sweats and look like shit and still feel cool on the app.
But I think it's just the fact that you can find random places to just enter.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go and hear what they're talking about here today. Yeah. If you're in the mood, if you feel like you only came to network and one day you're in the mood for speed dating, you can find it. If you're in the mood for music, let me hear music. You can find it.
Yeah, so, there's some rooms that play like songs.
Songs. I see rooms that tell you during the day, take a break from work, don't talk, just listen, and they play music. Like let's take our break together and just listen to music. Yeah. Only one moderator playing music.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting how the social media game just keeps changing.
It's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea. I think they shouldn't regulate it. I think they should just let...
I hope not. I think that's what I'm praying for. Because if they have these people come and start banning people for saying one thing or the other, it's going to just take away from it.
Let people do...
I'm just praying
whatever they want to do on there.
I'm praying. There's some politics rooms too that are heated, man. Where people go in there and they're heated. But I like it.
There's a lot of rooms. Do you know how many rooms I've seen that are even, you know, a lot of British people on there. There's the UK versus British.
There's a lot.
There are rooms that we saying cash up a black lady today. I'm like, that's the people's head.
Yeah.
There's rooms. I've seen rooms that say, there are rooms that bash men a lot.
Yeah, I mean, but that's to be expected now.
But you see,
I just avoid those ones.
I just avoid it. I'm just like, I avoid it not because I'm upset. But I avoid it like, what do I want to hear?
You see, why are Nigerian men so why do they lack so much
empathy?
Nigerian
men don't deserve good things. This one now, you sit here like, now, wow, you get.
I was like,
so, but the thing about those rooms is I don't bother myself entering it. What do I want to hear in the room?
No,
like, it's nothing. You're not saying anything that interests me. So,
yeah, I just,
you see, there's one I saw that this Niger guys were doing, or these people were doing, say, hey, Yoruba demons to come and tell Yoruba demon stories. But do you want to know the funny thing is, the same way I don't like some certain Nollywood movies or Nollywood movies, and some people can love it. It's the same way some people see, that's what they're looking for. I want to hear Yoruba demon stories.
I really hope they don't
regulate it. Let everyone just
man, because it'll kill the fun. It'll kill everything.
Yeah, don't regulate it.
You have the option to leave a room if you don't like it.
Yeah, just leave it or don't enter it.
Yeah. I think we're due for a quick break now. For the mid song, you wanted this
KPK.
This KPK song. Have you know, like, so that's another slang that I've been hearing a lot.
No,
they'll say something like that. It's called KPK. Kokpoke. It's by Rexxie featuring the guy that I played earlier on.
For the longest time, Rexxie's beats.
Mohbad.
Like, I thought Naira Marley was on it because he makes so much for Naira Marley now. Like the beats.
He does. Yeah. I wonder if he's signed under him.
I think he is.
He probably is.
But it sounds that's why like a Naira Marley song. Like, I'm surprised they didn't feature Naira on it.
This is a jam, man. This is a jam. This is KPK Kokpoke. Rexxie featuring Mohbad. Check this out.
Ta ló sọ pé kò kọ̀kẹ́? OPP ó pọ̀pá, OPG ó pọ̀gan. Ta ló sọ pé kò kọ̀kẹ́? OPP ó pọ̀pá, OPG ó pọ̀gan. Àwọn ọmọ ají ló mọ́tò, ají bàbá yá, àwọn ọmọ mi ṣokoṣoko. Àwọn ọmọ ají ló mọ́tò, ají bàbá yá, àwọn ọmọ mi ṣokoṣoko. Let's go back up, OPP, you pop, OPG, you pop. Let's go back up, OPP, you pop, OPG, you pop. Ta ló sọ pé kò kọ̀kẹ́? OPP ó pọ̀pá, OPG ó pọ̀gan. Ta ló sọ pé kò kọ̀kẹ́? OPP ó pọ̀pá, OPG ó pọ̀gan.
Yeah, so that was Rexxie, the producer. He does a lot of Naira Marley joints.
Bro, I'm telling you, Naira Marley could have been on this track.
So, continuing from our discussion, so there was this one thread on Clubhouse that I ran into the other day. It was called Niger House Helps: Exploitation versus Opportunity, and I thought it was a very interesting conversation. I don't know where you stand on it, but basically what they were arguing against was you had people on one side that were saying, look, we cannot have house helps being taken for granted. Basically, because these house helps in Nigeria, doing domestic work, they get sold into these transactions. Basically, they usually have someone in the village that's taking the money from them, from the kids, and it's usually kids that get maltreated, mistreated in these people's houses. They get treated like second-class citizens, this, and that. So there was this faction in this room that was saying, look, we need to pretty much ban this stuff. But then there was also this other faction that was saying, look, we understand that there are a lot of inhumane things going on in some of these situations. These kids being taken for granted. But then there's also an economy that's coming out of this too. A lot of people, the only way that they're able to get out of their impoverished state is by going through house help work, and then they get an opportunity either to go to school and they're able to live themselves out of poverty. Basically, it's been a system that has worked for some people, but it's also been very, very detrimental for a lot of people. And there were these folks that, some of them obviously that lived abroad, they were looking at it from a perspective of, from their Yankee perspective of, oh no, kids should never be allowed to work. But the question is, okay, well, if they don't work, then what's the alternative? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the alternative? Then you had people saying, well, you pretty much bring them into your house and you have to treat them the exact same way you treat your own kids. So stuff like, if you bring in a house help, right, you can't send them to a public school and then send your own kids to a private school. And, they were talking along those lines. And I thought it was interesting because in my mind, I'm thinking, this doesn't sound like any kind of domestic work. This sounds like adoption. Like, it's one thing if you want to adopt a kid and help the kid and treat that kid like yours. But if this is someone that you want domestic help from, which happens a lot, like, I mean, this is just the economy that we have. This is how it's set up. There's certain labor out there. It's obviously the people that are rich. They have this immense power. They have a bigger bargaining power because they have the money, right? And these people that are trying to negotiate with them, they're coming from a place of poverty, so they don't really have equal bargaining power. If you know what I'm saying, so it's unfair. But I guess my question is, what's the right thing? Is this something that you think that should be outlawed outright?
So no, I don't think it should be outlawed. We have experience. So I've always spoken against child slavery. I always spoke doing something we're talking about. I forget what we're talking about. Other rights. One of these Black Lives Matter conversation we had, and I was saying how Nigerians are hypocritical because you're the same people who, you're talking about slavery but yet you have, kids in your house that came from Togo, that came from these countries, and I had these conversations with people over the years, and somebody would tell me, oh, in my own house, we treated them like kids, we took them. I think I even had that conversation in one of the League of Law thread, and I think maybe it was in Mika or someone that was saying how, his parents, the person they had, they trained them and took them to school, and when you put it that way or you look at it that way, that kind of person obviously might never get that opportunity if they were by themselves.
Yeah.
So, but on the flip side too, you do have situations where I've seen a woman tie up this child.
Yeah, there's some sick shit going on.
Put them in a cage with dogs. There's one I saw them, they put in a bag of rice.
There's some that even end up dying as a result of.
When I think of these things, it makes me angry, and I'm like, fuck it, ban it all. But we have to be realistic.
Yeah.
We come from very poverty, and I keep having to go back to the conversation just because we're both in that room. But even that railway stuff, I was telling, and I made that comment and said, you guys know, like, even with the railway that the government builds, there are people who are going to steal the metal to resell. And it's because the mentality we come from. We're very poor. My dad would always tell me, like, if you go and build a nice garden to beautify Lagos somewhere, Ibadan somewhere, and you put one nice fabricated metal or something, don't be surprised when you come back and it's gone. In here in this country, you don't think of stuff like that. No one is going to steal, guy, this wood of your deck here in Nigeria, if this on Nigeria, somebody will come and find a way to cut it down when they need it. So we're very poor and we do what we need to survive. So if a family believes sending their kid almost quote unquote sell, it's almost like you're selling.
In a way, yeah.
In a way, selling their kid is the way forward. It's a selfish way for the family.
Yes.
But look at a driver. A driver is poor, making 20,000 naira a month. He marries the market woman or house girl or woman who's also making 10, 20, 30,000. So their combined income is 50K a month. Then they have 10 children. Those kids are going to be raised in poverty and be poor, and those kids are going to marry poor people and keep the cycle goes on. It's one would randomly out of how many would make it in life, but poverty breeds poverty.
Yeah.
So that woman is like, well, I'm going to have to sell these kids or push them. I don't want to use the word sell because now it sounds like I'm talking about, but it's really what it is you're giving this child to a stranger to take this child to another stranger's house to go work domestic work, and you're getting money from it. And this child is living in someone else's house. I remember being in my boy's house one time as a kid, and the maid was almost our age, and maybe she was a little older, but like I would always just randomly think, when me and this guy are playing PlayStation, when me and this guy are going to school, when me and this guy are playing soccer. I think they send her to some public school, but like when me and this guy are having fun, she doesn't have a childhood. Yeah. She really doesn't have friends. She doesn't. It's tragic. It's tragic. When you sit down and think about it that way, she doesn't have a childhood. She doesn't have friends.
So we're being. It feels like we're between a rock and a hard place. It's like the choices that we have, right? It's either that girl doesn't get that opportunity to come and work in that place, right?
And eat 3 square meals and have clean clothes and have clean water and go to public school.
Yes.
She doesn't have. If she doesn't come, she doesn't
have
get
that chance.
If
it's a guy, it could even be worse because that guy could end up going into crime. Because he doesn't have
or
that
even the girl could go into prostitution or
yes.
If you want to be a sex worker, be a sex worker. But let me just sex trafficking.
Yes.
Then let me say prostitution. Yeah.
Yes.
She could be sex trafficked. She could be So it could get worse.
So some people brought up some really good ideas. This one dude that I thought he brought up some brilliant ideas, and basically what he was saying is that maybe we need to regulate.
That's what I was going to get. Oh, I didn't finish. So yeah,
the problem
regulate. We need to regulate.
Regulation would mean we would have to rely on the government.
Yes.
Anything that involves the government is a scam.
It is.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I was trying to get to is regulation. So because the case differs by case. So like I just said, that girl doesn't have a childhood, and her off days were one Sunday. So Sunday between certain hours, she gets to leave the house, go meet, I guess the one person she knows in the town, for a few hours, and come back, and you're back to it. And I don't know, like. Maybe I'm just too butty or whatever, but I think of the mental state also. Like, can you think of the mental state of just being, we moved to this country on our own, right, by ourselves, and at a younger age, and even then, just being by yourself sometimes can take a toll on you.
Yeah.
Going through college by yourself, even though yes, you have cousins, relatives, but like for the most part, you were forced to be an adult for yourself. Yeah. You were here in a new country yourself. Thrown in here and say, guy, and you're coming to a very developed country. It doesn't get more developed, unless you're in China, all this, but it's very developed. And yet, they still had its toll. Start thinking about you being in some stranger's house in Nigeria.
Yeah.
And now hope that at least the stranger is even taking care of you.
Is nice enough to.
Because there's some that will tell you to eat the same food the dogs are eating.
Do you think maybe there should be an age limit?
One, I do think there should be an age limit.
What would you say the age limit
I think it should be 18 and above.
18?
Yes. But
then that means there's a lot of under 18 kids that are they just wallowing in poverty.
That's the second part. So
and then at 18, it's like there's no you're not paying for high school or anything at that point.
The second
unless
part, and here's the thing,
you want to send them to university.
So Yeah, so here's the thing is...
It kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
No.
At 18.
So here's where it has to come in hand in hand. Oyo State has a law that I think Makinde has tried to push forward or is pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
Kids are not supposed to be... Kids between certain ages are supposed to be in school.
Yes.
For free. The government is covering that part. But parents don't even send those kids because those parents believe, why is my kid going to school when I can have them hawk and make me money?
Make me money, yeah.
Yes. So now it's up to the government to enforce it and punish those parents. If the government does that, then you know that guaranteed from the ages of, as a teen,
they'll be in school.
Toddler to 18, you're in school.
Okay, I like that.
So you're in school.
I like that.
We know that.
Which is good. So that means their time is being productive.
Their time is being productive. You're in school.
So that would mean we would need to have free education for these kids.
Yes. And I think
I like that. But then again, I want to...
The schools 18. Too might not be good, though.
You said
that's
18.
Another option too.
You said 18. 18. I think 18 might be high because the legal working age in Nigeria, I checked, it's 16 years old.
Okay, so 16 is fine.
I think 16 is
16 is fair, yes. Well, I said 18 because most of us graduate from secondary school at 17, 18.
17, yeah, fair.
Do you get? So 17, let's say 16. 16 is fine. 16, 17.
Yeah.
But also, at 16, you're still a child. But you're a little more... you're less dependent at that point. You're a little more. You've seen a little more in life to make you make better decisions. Yeah. You've seen a little more, and also with the school, you now another aspect is not only making them go to school. Make sure the schools are teaching them something good, because with school you can start to get that belief that, you know what, maybe I can make something for myself and push something for myself and have the education. Well, Nigeria is tough too, but
the Oyo State experiment, right? It's ongoing.
Oyo State,
it's ongoing right now.
Has years ago,
and it's free.
Confirmed. They signed that deal. I don't know if it's free. It's. I think it's free. The governor, when he came in, has been trying to revive dead things. It's been there. I think the previous governor was just chopping the money. He didn't enforce it.
Okay.
But it's hard to also be. One thing I would say is I don't think I'd ever want to be a politician in Nigeria too, because sometimes it's hard to enforce things. Like, things have gotten so bad.
Yeah.
Like, you want to build roads, you have to demolish houses because people have built houses to, like, we've got so lawless.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's a norm. Yeah. So it's like, for you don't, why should you be convincing people to send their kids to school? But that's what he has. So now he has to start with two ways.
But I like that. I don't
know if he ever completed it. He started talking about doing it when he came into office. Now, and the man has been doing a lot of stuff, obviously. So I don't know. But yes, the government officials have to enforce that school thing.
Yes.
So there's an age limit.
Free education.
Because also, let's talk about it.
School.
Even the women, even the girls. And I feel for the girls, because all these little girls to get raped. Yeah. While they are the house, some of these quote unquote, they get raped by uncles, aunties, gardeners, gatesman, security guard. They get raped too.
So we need some kind of enforcement of laws against, like, maltreatment of these domestic workers.
Honestly, I think let me tell you, I've thought about a big thing that can solve so many unskilled labor issues in Nigeria. It's a thing that United States is moving away from, but I think we need to move towards it. Unionizing, getting a union.
Okay.
So that way, that any gatesman, there's a union of gatesmen.
Yeah.
There's a union of house girls. There's a union of drivers.
Yeah.
First of all, that helps to standardize to salary.
Where were you in the club room that you could have brought up a lot of these things?
I heard. So sometimes some people make some statements that just piss me off and I just get out. I'm just like, I don't, like, you're not being realistic with your thought process.
You're right. They could unionize.
Unionize. Yeah, there you go. And you have, like, people, because America runs away from it, because you see, like, in certain areas of the country that still have unions, they make it harder for laws to pass.
Yeah, the unions have
too much power.
They've had a long time in power.
Yeah,
and they've abused a lot of their powers in a lot of cases.
And that's what's going to happen to Nigeria too at some point. But they've abused it. So,
but at least we can get started.
But we can start it, because that way it helps. You're paying a driver 50. Like, I'm sorry, but if I'm paying you 15K and say, well, that's what they pay drivers. If I can't afford to, do I not want a driver to? As I am like now, I'm able to afford a driver, but does it make sense? But a driver here in America, how much is it going to cost? Does it make sense for me to pay that kind of money?
because I don't have the money to, so I won't have a driver. So why should you be? But everybody has a driver in Nigeria, because how much are you paying a driver? 15K, 20K. So everybody has house girl because you're paying them 15K, 10K.
So let me give you this scenario, and I like where your head is at, because let's say they unionize, right? And then they decide that, look, going forward, you have to use domestic workers that are part of some kind of union, right? Obviously, you're gonna have people going around that, right? And to still go and get,
of course,
domestic workers that are not unionized for cheap and mistreating them. We would need some kind of enforcement to punish those people. We would need it.
So the regulation still stands as. So in a perfect world, my idea would have been the whole school system.
Yes.
Regardless of house girl or anybody.
Yeah, that one needs to stay. Yeah, that one needs to be there.
Because you will learn. School first of all keeps you off the streets.
It does.
And you get to learn and explore, and just see the endless possibilities in life. Even if life has dealt you a bad hand. You can see stories of people that have been educated and be able to at least move out of that. And reason I say up until secondary school is because nowadays, honestly, a lot of jobs today, you really don't need a college degree to get it. Like, they ask for it, but you can be a wealthy person without a college degree, if you're being honest. Yeah. But I feel like primary and secondary education is what defines you as a person. Most of your English that you learned, most of your language, most of your intellect came from these phases, like your reasoning process. So keep them there. They are not thinking a poverty mindset because they're educated. One. Yeah.
So education
done. Now unions come in too. For all these unskilled laborers. Unskilled laborers, from security guy to driver to gate man. And
they have unions for like teachers though in Nigeria. They do have unions. It's just that they don't have it to the level
the Nigerian teachers it's ASU.
Yeah, lecturers union.
Association of but ASU it's weird, and it's the fucked up shit. And that's another thing in Nigeria. So ASU, the leaders of ASU, their own kids don't even go to school in Nigeria. Yeah. And these people call on strikes. And here's the problem: ASU calls strikes, and that's also another problem with union. Even if a teacher wants to teach and ASU calls strike, that's it. For public schools, public schools you can't teach because ASU has called a strike. And I don't know what ASU strikes are for. I think they always say maybe it's obviously unpaid salaries and stuff like that. But the downside of the amount of strikes ASU has called is so many people that were supposed to go to college, for instance, for 4 years, and ASU is only for universities. It's not. I think some people that are supposed to go to school for 4 years ended up going to school for 6 years. Because if ASU in your 4 years program, ASU calls strikes 5 times, and each time is 2-3 months, you've lost 2 years of school in general. So, but they do have that. But you can get it for every industry, every unskilled labor, and that way, when you want to get a driver. Let's start with house help, since that's the topic. You want to get a maid at the age of 16.
Yes.
There's a union.
And there are minimum standards and requirements.
If you don't fit, I'm sorry, but having a
minimum amount that you can pay that person, there's certain things that, like certain treatment that you can't, you have to give that, you can say, like, give that person a real
and if
bed.
You don't, that person can come for you.
Yeah.
And that way, but because let's be honest, like, and that's what I was trying to say. You and I, Corey, I don't know how much, I looked out to how much drivers here make. We can afford to hire drivers, chauffeurs, but
you think so?
Yeah, but it does not make any sense.
It makes no sense to drive by yourself.
It makes no sense.
I'll rethink it.
You rethink it.
Yeah,
you
and
rethink
in Nigeria,
it.
Maybe some people might rethink it too.
Exactly, you rethink it and say, this actually makes no absolute.
Maybe you're not in a position to have a maid.
Maybe you're not in a position to have a maid. Let me just do average chauffeur salary. I don't know. Just I have average chauffeur salary is 26,000 to 49,000 a year. Guy, you can pay somebody that a year, but you now think about it, say, but wait, come, I don't think I want to use 26,000 of my money to pay somebody's salary a year.
Yeah.
You don't.
You can
if you're making $1 million a year or 7 figures,
you can afford it.
You can say, yeah, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah, but at least you know your place.
You know your place. I have cleaners that come to my apartment to clean, but they come once a month because that's the only time I feel like, I can give you that money once a month. I'm not going to hire you full time because I can choose to, but then it's a waste of my goddamn money.
Yeah. So I like where your head is at. I think the problem with it is, and in somewhere like Oyo State, right, you already have like education programs in place. If they get enforced, you know, we can kind of move towards that. But the rest of the country, you know that that's not going to happen because of leadership.
No.
Again, it always comes back to leadership.
No.
Because why? Because the money that's supposed to be used for that education is going into someone's pocket.
Yeah, and
so it comes right.
And that's why I want so another model that I want Nigeria to follow is the individuality like of states here, where laws is state-wise.
Yes.
Let Oyo State be responsible for Oyo State, and Oyo State let Lagos State be responsible. Don't let the money Oyo State makes go into some national pool that Osun State, which refuse to enforce any laws, gets to share from. Don't let the money that.
But that's how the laws are set.
I know.
So you're saying that
Scrap that.
Dismantle those laws.
Because that's what
but
happens.
you do know that it's part of the Constitution.
It is,
right?
and that's the conservative. Because that's what happens when Oyo State is enjoying. Let's just say Oyo State does enforce this kind of laws and starts to prosper, and next governor comes in and continues it, and now the level of literacy in Oyo State has reduced. Level of this starts to flourish. You realize that Oyo State is now becoming a hub. It's now becoming nice. It's now making money. Osun State, they will look at you and say, does Oyo State and Lagos State have two heads?
Yeah, I know.
And when you understand that those people were responsible themselves,
it would have like a
you will be forced to
effect.
you will be forced to be your governors at that point realize when your citizens are looking and say, come, everyone just looks at Lagos. But when everyone else starts to do their own things and say, and you see that, man, that guy was that guy now, that governor, was it Borno State that we wanted to be contender for governor at one point? I forget one of those guys, for president at one point, one of those guys that he reduced the debt of his state, then he increased the level, reduced the level of literacy. He did a lot, but I don't know why people that don't even get credit for what they do. I don't know. But yeah, so states do your stuff, enforce it, but unionize. Even states, you can have the union per state, not even overhead. Let every state come up with, because standard of living is different. You can't say the salary for a driver in Lagos should be the same salary as one in Ibadan. And you in Lagos, you decide to go and live in Lagos, you realize that, man, bro.
In theory, it sounds like there's many.
It's never going to happen. I can tell you it's never going to happen.
It's a good idea. It's just
it's never going to happen.
The reason why, again, it always comes down to leadership. Everything, like, there's so many solutions that can be implemented, right? So many great ideas.
Even that union,
but without that leadership,
even in that union, you pay dues and fees. There are going to be people that are upset.
Abuse.
They're even going to be upset that they are paying dues and tell you that they'll go and get the job. I'd rather get the job underground.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of so it's never going to in Nigeria. It's never going to happen.
I wonder if. Again,
we're
like I said,
far away from
it always comes down to
leadership. Yeah,
we just need to get rid of these idiots, and it starts from the top. And Buhari is not an example.
It's not only them; it's the people too. Because I just think about it. And when I said that thing yesterday, everybody was shocked. But I was like, let's think. And then someone came and said, "Nah, but think about it, bro." But you too, if you see that your government is building railway, do you not feel like when I go and steal the metal off the tracks, I am holding that project back?
Yeah.
So even we as people
they've started
doing that.
So for those that don't know, we're talking about the railway. We talked about it a few weeks ago, and we were on a Clubhouse room where the topic came up. Let's bring it up. The topic came up, and we realized that there were already some hiccups to this project. Meaning, like, for instance, the travel time from Lagos to Ibadan is like 3 hours.
2 hours, 40 minutes.
2 hours, 40 minutes. That already... Now, they're saying that the train is running at full speed.
Yeah, they say it's not running full speed. But then, as someone explained yesterday, it's making a lot of stops.
Okay.
Also.
Okay.
So it's not direct. But you see, we have to give them kudos where kudos is deserved, but we also have to knock them on the head where they fucked up. So... when you do I when I go to England, where I used to stay is outside London, Uppington, and there to leave that place, to go to London, you can take a train, obviously, to Victoria Station in London. I forget how long the train rides are, but there are trains that come and they run
and they make 14, 15 stops before you get to Victoria.
Yeah.
And then there are trains that make only 4 stops, 3 stops.
Yeah.
Same thing everywhere else. So when I'm building something like this, I would put that in mind and
Put
say,
that-
okay, yes, let the,
But
the
this
train of 2
particular
hours,
train
40
is
minutes.
just two
It's just
tracks.
it's 2 tracks, one going,
One going, one coming.
which is even better because the other ones in Kaduna, I think, is just one.
It's just one.
Yeah.
So once they
Once
change
they
on that
change,
track,
that's it. So-
there's nothing.
so-
but at least this one, you can have a train going
and a train coming at the same time.
time.
They cross each other.
And you can even have multiple
Now-
back to back
Yeah,
behind
but
each
I don't
one,
know
right?
how they have the stations built because for you to trains don't U-turn, so you're going to need to. I mean,
No, trains can. They don't U-turn. They'll
just
go
and they come back.
and they'll come back.
So you have to.
No, it depends,
You have
though.
to take them
There's
off. So
some
when you
stations
get to the station, you take them off to another track.
Yeah.
And you let the other one come back, and then you now back up.
Yeah.
That's the only way it can work. So I don't know if they built the multi-track system where you can park different trains.
Okay, so we don't know that.
So we don't
Okay.
know that. But yeah, so they didn't build a fast track train. There's no fast train in terms of
They say it was a locomotive. That was the term that I heard.
Yeah, but the trains they look newish. They're fine
Okay.
to an extent, whatever.
Okay.
But it's not running full speed, and I can understand why it's not running full speed because if you're going through these stops and you're making stops, you're not really going to be running full speed, depending on the distance between stops. But I'm sure it can go faster when it gets to longer distance.
Yes.
But
now keep in mind this project cost 1.5 billion.
which the price was different.
Provided by China.
China, yes.
Okay.
So they've done it now. So the Nigerian government says we need to link Lagos to Ibadan. So my question then becomes why do we need to link Lagos to Ibadan? I think any sane person will say, bro, first of all, a lot of people commute to Lagos to Ibadan. Secondly, the highway is too congested.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know how Redeem is getting away with doing that bullshit they do on the Redeem camp. If I was governor or president, wallahi, that's the first people I'll sanction on that highway. But fine, it's getting too camped.
Yeah.
If I was even there himself, I'll make a station right outside Redeem camp
Yes. No.
so people can take train. But then, why is the road not that good? Oh, because of all the trailers.
Yes.
So why not make cargo space? Instead, this train is only for passengers. This rail cannot take cargo.
Yes, that was something
that's
that came
the
up.
thinking of Nigerians. Now,
That was something that came
when I
up.
read a lot of reports, Rotimi Amechi, which is Minister of Transportation,
Yeah.
was doing a lot of referencing to Kenya. Kenya took a $3 billion loan from China. They're paying it back, and Amechi is I feel like he did a similar deal with. But here's what Kenya's train is. Kenya's train goes from Mombasa, which is a seaport area, to Cairo.
And it's obviously
It's
a cargo.
transporting cargo.
It has to now.
That is
Are you
why
kidding
they
me?
built it to transport cargo. So Kenya can easily make that money back.
That's money that they can
transport
they can
cargo.
sell their all their
It's easy to transport cargo. It's 300 and something kilometers long. That's how much. It's almost times 3 the length of
Yes.
the one Lagos Ibadan, and it transports cargo from the seaport. So now you don't have easy trailer. All those trailers.
and it's going across
It's going.
countries.
All those trailers. It's there now. It's going from.
So that's already a fail. This thing
So
doesn't transport cargo.
this in our. So now, okay, what is it supposed to transport if it's not cargo?
Only human beings.
Human beings. Okay, fine.
How much are they charging?
Now, how much are you charging? They say the minimum ticket is 2,000 naira.
2,000 naira. That's
One
like
way.
how many dollars?
I don't know, maybe $5.
Okay.
Or $4.
Okay.
One way. Now, that is fine, but the majority of people who need these things still don't have 2K to go one way to Lagos. Because you and I can decide to take that train, and you and I can decide to just have a driver drive us to Lagos, Ibadan, however I want to do it.
I wonder what the fee is if you're gonna hop on a bus.
It's expensive too.
But is it 2K expensive?
So
2K is not bad now.
So the problem is drop. They said some people can do drop. Some people do. The poverty is so bad that some people are willing. Like one guy says, some people are willing to have hitchhike and let people carry them. Now, fine. Let's say 2K is not bad. I still don't think you can get the volume of people you want. So I don't think this is a necessary. So transportation in here, the States, is necessity, or in England necessity, but I don't think it's luxury.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, I think this transportation is luxury.
You think so?
But we have to understand that infrastructures are not cheap too. So I'm going to, like I said, be on the side of the government to a certain extent.
Okay.
But
then how about all the people
you also got to understand that it's a means of transportation. The same way I can decide and say I want to go to Cali.
Yeah.
And the plane ticket cost me $300, and I say, fuck it. It may be cheaper for me to drive across country and spend 3 days. It's possible.
Yeah.
So I'm paying for the convenience of travel. Same thing with train. I can take a train to New York and spend $100, or I can drive to New York.
So in Nigeria, you don't think there are enough maybe middle class people that maybe work in Lagos and want to live in Ibadan that would be willing to pay that amount?
The incentive is not there for you. Ibadan is not lucrative enough for you to probably want to leave Lagos to live in, which it should be. I honestly, maybe I should be advising these people. If I was marking there at this point, I might even decide to subsidize some of the fees for residents that live. Move to Ibadan, I'll subsidize you some sort of membership, and I'll give you 7% off, and sign contracts with people to build high-rise or nice development in Ibadan. Build new communities in Ibadan. That people are like, bro, actually, why Lagos? Let me stay in Ibadan.
You know where in Ibadan the train station is?
Akpata or something like that.
Akpata.
I don't know. Yeah, I think so.
Are there multiple stations? There has to be
multiple
stations
along the way, but I think I don't remember. But anyways, so now the way I look at it is government has built this train.
Yeah.
And it's in place. It's starting to run. It's supposed to go from Lagos to Ibadan via Abeokuta.
Yes.
Or either way, Ibadan to Lagos via Abeokuta. And carry passengers. Fine. The price, fine, 2Ks. I don't think.
Do you know what the capacity is?
I don't know what the capacity is, but I do think it's a luxury. It's not a high speed train. It's not a. It is like does look like a one of the newer
like a choo-choo. It's
like
not a choo-choo train.
The
one that
no.
The one that blows smoke.
No. But it's not like a speed train. It's not like one of your Virgin trains in England or Euro train kind of speed. No. But fine, idea is good. Transport people. You don't transport goods. Now, the only thing, like I said, is doesn't solve the problem of congestion that you get on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. Personally, I don't think it does.
You're still gonna have
because even Nigeria too is not set up in a way where. Let's say we want to go to New York. Let's say we want to go to New York now. Let me just end with this. Me and you want to go to New York. We go and we want to take a train. We'll go to DC station.
Yeah.
Take a train to New York. We get to New York. We can take underground trains. We can take the taxis. In Nigeria, guy, think about it, you don't have a car and you're in Nigeria, in Lagos. You get the train and you go to.
There'll be a bus stop near now.
What's the bus stop situation like? Have you taken? When last you take
yeah,
bus?
but
When last you take?
But
bus
it has to start from somewhere. Is what I'm saying. Like I think eventually the networks will grow out of it, right? Now, in terms of solving congestion, maybe it won't solve congestion immediately. Maybe it's a long-term play. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it's a long-term play.
Maybe.
My fear is this thing going to be maintained?
Personally,
to the point
I don't think so.
It'll be sustainable enough to have those long-term benefits because it's gonna take. We're gonna have to maintain it for a while, and then once we realize, okay, this is stable. Okay, maybe they increase the speed of the train. Maybe it's no longer taking 3 hours. Maybe it's now taking 2 hours.
Or maybe you get more tracks and you have a speed train.
And you know what I'm saying. So the potential for it is huge. I mean, we're talking about huge economic potential. You know, even someone brought up the fact that even at these train stations, you're going to see economic activity around the train stations. That's jobs. That's people, hawkers selling, people selling goods. You're going to have, there's a possibility of, like I said, decongestion of Lagos. That could be a long-term play. There's a possibility of less congested roads on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, which would maintain
the road itself.
That road itself, which they keep building over and over. You know, it could lead for more people to move to Ibadan, which would cause more economic growth in Ibadan, and then it could cause for another train from Ibadan going somewhere else. You know, like
honestly, if you wanted to do it well, you do from Ibadan to Ondo State to the north, and you have
these trailers might not need to exist for the most part.
The question now is that will it be
sustained.
maintained? Will it be sustained?
And this is why, unfortunately, it's a government project.
See, and that's what doesn't give me
Amechi,
hope.
for instance, will maybe, if he decides, to try and do his best. But once Buhari is out of office, Amechi is probably not going to stay. The next president is not going to make him Minister of Transportation. Now, it depends on who the next Minister of Transportation is. Can decide, I don't care. Case in point, in Ibadan, that Secretariat roundabout or flyover, whatever, I forget. No, Mokola roundabout. You know the roundabout I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know.
I forget which governor it was. One governor came in. Maybe it was Ladoja.
Was it Ajimobi?
I think Ladoja came. One governor came in, built roundabout. Another governor came in, took away that roundabout and said, no, that road does not need roundabout. I'll put traffic light. Another one came in and put roundabout back. Another one came in. Eventually, they demolished it and put a flyover, which is what's there now. So, in the space of how many years, governor in one junction, one very busy intersection, 3 governors could not decide what they wanted to do with it. Until the last one, I think, which was Ajimobi, which finally did a flyover and said, maybe this is the best option, which I think probably might have been the best option. But it just tells you that, so it's down to, when we leave government in power, it's down to how the person is feeling, to be honest. And say, so
and whoever
those
comes
ideas,
in after,
they don't continue. And that's why when you have, you have like, here in America, you have the House of Reps and, you have the floor, you have the House. It's not, the fact that it's a nice divide of Republicans and Democrats, it's very hard for you to just overthrow.
Yeah, there's a lot of checks and balances.
There's a lot of checks and balances. I don't think we have those checks and balances. So
they're all on the same team, the team of chopping money.
So
it's all about how much we can get out of it.
So it's easy. So I mean, even if Amechi says, man, I'm going to do my best to make sure this railway works, I can't guarantee that the next person that comes in will do their best. Then the individuals themselves. I gave the story there yesterday about
that 1.5 billion will go to China.
And let me tell you something.
That's on our head.
Let me tell you something. The Kenya that we are copying, China is ready. The deal is if Kenya cannot pay. Do you know what China gets?
Well, they'll probably take over their ports.
The seaports.
It's always their ports that
they're taking over the seaports.
It's always the ports that
they are waiting to take over that seaport. So now here's what China is going to do.
China is on world domination, man.
You will be exporting goods from your country and you will not see $1 from it. That is what's going to happen. So in this Nigeria, I don't know what the deal is if we default. And that's the problem. Amechi might feel like, well, this contract we signed, by the time we start running this thing, after 10, 20 years, we might be able to pay them back. But Amechi is not going to be around for 10, 20 years.
No, he ain't.
So the next person that comes in might be like, I don't care. Or it might be better. So we don't know.
The truth is, nothing in our history shows me that this is going to work. It's not like something has worked before that gives me hope.
And Nigerian Airways was very good, and Nigerian Airways doesn't exist anymore.
Maybe they said that they even contracted out the logo of the Nigerian Airways.
They did.
They contracted it out to like another country.
Yeah.
Like dumb stuff like that you hear about. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not very hopeful.
To be honest, I don't really know.
It comes back to leadership. And like I said, until we're willing to fight for this thing, until we're willing to shut everything down, I always say,
accountability.
I feel like End SARS was a good dry run. It was a good test run because we saw how we could get people's attention. You notice the minute people got shot at Lekki Tollgate, the world went on pause and paid attention. I think this is the only way. We frustrate them and we make demands and we just say, fuck it, we're going to shut everything down. We just shut it down. We outnumber them. And until we have a leader that's brave enough to rally people around him and not just middle class, upper middle class, the kind of enters people that you are saying students. I'm talking about rally the masses, the poor, the impoverished, people that can reach out to them and harness those guys, harness those people. Until that happens, I think we're just going to be spinning our wheels. We're gonna take one step forward, 2 steps backwards.
It's a good, like this train thing. It's a good idea. It's because honestly, guy, even that train itself, they should even find a way to even make it go to the airport itself, or make another track that goes from the airport to one of the stations. Because honestly, can you imagine how convenient it would be that we just land in Niger and I just take a train from the airport to another stop, and I switch stops, and I'm on my way to
Giant.
Ibadan.
Who's the giant of Africa?
On my way to Ibadan. But do you want to know the funniest thing?
What?
This is the first of its kind train in West Africa. So don't actually dismiss that giant of Africa statement, which is how bad Africa is. This is the first of its kind.
In Africa?
In West Africa, I think.
But Wale, look,
the first.
I went to South Africa, right, a few years ago. Dude, I made it from the airport to my friend's house in Pretoria, all on trains.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
All on trains.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is that's where we're supposed to be too. But
man,
but
we're so
that's
behind.
that's where we're supposed to be. So, you know, it's going to get there. I feel as long as we keep pushing it. I do feel, but like it's a start. It is a start. I do feel like maybe they should. I think the easiest way they could have made their money back is maybe starting with the cargo train instead, because with goods you're charging for the goods guaranteed. You have
and the
goods guaranteed,
companies will pay for
company
it.
will pay.
They know
You
that
so,
they'll get there quicker.
But yeah, also privatizing, making private companies take care of these things too. There it's ways. There's this ups and there's downs, to be honest. So I think maybe a private company would have been better. Maybe at least government is not owing any country money. Let it be the private company that is owing. Which is different, but. At the end of the day, we just have to hope for the best. But I was very interested when I heard about the train idea. That's why I know so much about it, because I read it and I was like, yo, bro, this is amazing. Can you just think about getting to Nigeria and just taking a train from Lagos to Ibadan? Like,
yeah.
Bro, just how convenient would that be?
Man,
you don't have to sit in that.
It'll change the game.
But whatever. Man.
We're running out of time, man. What else happened this week? I think we've pretty much exhausted most of the topics we wanted to touch on. Smiler of the week, man. Let's get to it. Who you got? Who's winning this past week?
Smiler of the week. Did anything interesting happen this week? Nothing interesting. Nothing like.
Not even in sports.
No, nothing major happened.
Well, who's taking L's right now?
That BB Cool guy, man.
BB Cool. BB Cool sufferer of the week.
That guy him and everyone that was involved in the arrest of Thames and Omah.
Yeah, I'm sure that Cindy put in a few calls.
Cindy didn't put in a few calls. Cindy's just but you know what? At least
she sounds a little bit bitter.
We can see that she's bitter. We can not every condition, but we can see that you sure don't like it. So we know where your head is at. Yeah. So she's it's kind of like she was excited, but I mean, being excited that they got arrested, those people make more money than you. So, and not only is it about money doesn't quantify anybody, but they're more successful artists than you are. And so at the end of the day, they were spent 2 days in jail. Okay, kudos to you.
I would say for Smilers of the week, I would say those Clubhouse.
I was gonna say the Clubhouse
moderators. I think.
Which Clubhouse moderators?
I'm not gonna name any specific ones, but just the ones that, because you gotta understand, they got in early on ground, right, on this app.
What moderators?
Moderators that create these rooms that haven't closed.
But you can be a moderator too now.
Yeah, but there's certain rooms that haven't closed. That I can build my room. That doesn't mean anyone's gonna be there. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So I feel like for that Pigeon, Bear, and Parlor, for instance, whoever the moderators are, obviously they had the right idea, because clearly everyone has been going there ever since, and I think those guys are influencers whether we like it or not, and those people that got in very early, that that capitalized on the app. There are a lot of people that still haven't been introduced to this app that have no clue what's going on. But those people, they're going to be like the pioneers of what those Clubhouse rooms are going to be like. They're the ones kind of setting the rules. And yeah, I think those guys they're probably smiling right now. And I see a lot of them. They've been getting a lot of follows and shit. So I don't know, man. But we'll see how the app plays out. I'm very, very hopeful. Outside of that, I don't have anything else. Wale, do you have any ending track?
Ending track would be. You can play "Godly" by Omah.
Godly? You said that's the number one track on.
Top 100 Nigerian.
Okay. Well, this is "Godly" by Omah. This is my first time of hearing it, so check this out. But before I forget, you guys don't forget to follow us on Twitter @SmilingPod. on Instagram, smiling_sufferer, and on Facebook, Smiling Sufferer. Just search for us. We're also on YouTube. Please subscribe, hit the like button, share, comment. Thank you very much. You all have a good one. And this is Godly by Omah.
Boy now, boy now. Oh, I don't wanna. Live my life for you, live my life for you. All over the news, all over the news. Only God and I know the kind of thing I do, the kind of thing we do. Man, I thank God I got the lead. Say God no ungodly. Oluwa na ain't comforting me. When these people they come body me. Man, I thank God I got the lead. Say God no ungodly. Oluwa na ain't comforting me. When these people they come body me. It's why I die sometimes. A little Henny and ice. Make a fitty kulu mama. Oh, kill it, boy, no. Make I play you my cassette, you. Anything you sell is a market, you. Try to they look from my aspect, you. They loud them at the handset, you. Oh, me I know fi drag it shine. Oluwa na him be my kanji down. Me I know they try to connect the light. I just want Charlie boy day, make Charlie boy day. Man, I thank God I got the lead. Say God no ungodly. Oluwa na ain't comforting me. When these people they come body me. Man, I thank God I got the lead. Say God no ungodly. Oluwa na ain't comforting me. When these people they come body me. It's why I die sometimes. The little Henny and